Hello to all of our listeners out there in podcast land, and welcome to episode 31 of Canadian Patriot Podcast, recorded on June 20th, 2016. Joining me this evening, we have Gavin, a business owner, gun enthusiast, hunter, atheist, and the host of the Greater Toronto Area chapter of the Tactical Beard Owners Club. Hey, Gavin, how's it going?
Pretty good, you?
Very well, thank you. We've also got Tyler. Tyler's the co-host and co-founder of the International Liberty or Death podcast. Tyler's been shooting for 9 years, both as a casual and sport shooter, and as a hunter. He identifies politically as a right-wing libertarian edgelord. We also have a special guest this evening. Joining us is Trevor. Trevor's the co-host of Slamfire Radio, the Reloading Podcast, a teacher during the week, a gun club director. No, wait, that's wrong. A gun club vice president, and match director on weekends. Trevor's also a CCRF officer for New Brunswick.
Oh.
Hi, Trevor. How are you?
Is that the French acronym?
That's actually FR, yeah, my bad. I'm dyslexic, clearly, because I can't spell CCFR. So, yeah.
Andrew doesn't proof these show notes.
Andrew doesn't proof these show notes at all. As always, my name is Andrew. I'm your host. I'm a libertarian competitive shooter, a gear reviewer at everydaytactical.com, a gun club director, and someone wrote in that I'm a lover of tacos. And that's true, and I don't just mean the Mexican food.
Is it Tuesday already?
Not yet, but soon.
Is that a euphemism, or are you talking about the HSGI gear?
I am talking about the HSGI gear.
And the other ones.
Is that a euphemism?
Yeah, that's a euphemism. So we're going to go right into Trevor being on the show, and actually Trevor was kind enough to invite me onto Slamfire Radio last week to talk about the AR-15. That's there's a link in the show notes, but it's Slamfire Radio episode 160, and it's called AR-15's Andrew. So I'm really partial to that title.
That could probably have been a little bit better, but I guess it's appropriate.
It's a fantastic title. If you want to hear more about AR-15s, particularly my perspective on the AR-15s, I strongly recommend Canadian Patriot Podcast, episode 12, 13, 22, and 29. Check your local show notes listing.
Apparently you really like the AR-15.
You might say I'm a bit of an AR-15 sexual.
That's the Cole's Notes version of it?
That's basically how that works.
Awesome. Well, we'd love to hear your feedback about the AR-15 or the show in general. So please visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com/feedback or email us at feedback@CanadianPatriotPodcast.com. We love your hate mail, even though Andrew has stopped reading some of it. But we would love to get some more. At least I would, so you could just forward it to me. And if you go on the iTunes and leave a 5-star review, you get to choose what I drink. And Trevor left a review last time, so when we get to the what we're drinking part, I will cover that. But yeah, feedback. We love it. Leave it.
Just out of curiosity.
You on a great segue. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you stepped right on my segue.
I segued all over that shit.
Since we're on the subject of AR-15s, I always see your AR hung on your rack behind you, Andrew. And I know we've done this before, but out of curiosity, what's your... I mean, if you want to talk about all your ARs, fine, but what's your go-to AR configuration and why? 30 seconds.
30 seconds, goddamn. All right. Editing out the dead air later, had to grab the AR-15. It's not right if I don't fondle it. That's also not a euphemism. So SBR Spike's Tactical Lower with the R Parlay Plunder Safety Selector, the Badass Ambi Safety, the Battle Arms Development Extended Magazine Release, Geisley Super Semi-Automatic Trigger, Vortex 1-4 Optic, 11.5-inch barrel, Griffin Armaments Blast Comp, and Blast Shield is around here somewhere because it fits on multiple rifles I own. Buttstock system. Oh, Samson. I missed the handguard. Samson. Oh, hit the microphone with it. That's going to have to come out in editing. Samson Evolution Series 11-inch. And shout out to Kathleen Sampson at Sampson Manufacturing. Are great for exporting stuff out of the U.S. with. Kathleen Sampson is the wife of the owner, and she handles all of their international business. And literally 3 emails later, and you get a handguard, and it shows up in the mail. It's great.
Amazing. I run the 15 on my STI that I'll have at the charity shoot.
So it's a length competition now, is what you're saying.
Just saying, man. My handguard's bigger than yours. It is what it is.
All right, fine. So that to answer your question, I hope in 30 seconds is my go-to preferred AR-15 platform.
Which handguard is more ribbed, though? That's what really counts.
Well, it is ribbed for his pleasure, not mine.
It's a family show, man.
Oh, so, is it really?
No, it's not. But we ask you to keep the custom to a minimum so I don't have to add it.
Keep it in the family, I guess.
Yeah, the live show is not for families. The edited podcast one is definitely. It's podcast light, if you will, for the download.
I am happily maintaining our clean rating on iTunes. Thank you very much.
I thought one of the episodes had an explicit rating.
Yeah, I couldn't edit that week. I had to travel and I got married and it was ridiculous. And I'm like, yeah, F-bombs everywhere. Whatever, it's going up.
Did you announce that on the show? And I don't think I congratulated you.
No, it just came out. I remember hearing that one and going, "Oh boy, the gloves are off. What's going on? We're not so worried about iTunes anymore. Giddy up, let's go."
It was marked explicit in the iTunes feed. That's all that's required.
I don't deal with the iTunes. It just comes onto my phone and I listen while I drive. And I got to hear all the raw show. It was great.
Well, now you're part of it.
Yeah, so fuck it. Let's go.
Nice.
All right, somebody write on the timesheet how far we're in. I think that's like 7.5 minutes.
Did I get the first F-bomb of the episode?
Yeah.
Fucking sweet.
It's usually me or Gavin.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't.
No. You're the guest. You're the new one, so the honor is all yours.
Oh, excellent. Thanks, gentlemen.
And since no one is curious about my AR, I'm going to take my toys and go home.
If we could get around Trevor's obsession with long ribbed handguards, maybe we could ask you about yours. 30 seconds, give her.
If you're like a crazy stalker tier level fan of the show, you'll notice that I no longer have the SR556 behind me. That's gone, and I've now permanently switched over to the Colt Canada IUR as kind of my go-to carbine, and I use a Colt Canada SA20 for different applications. Nothing really special about it. Can't change the handguard on it. It's a monolithic upper. It's a factory barrel. And I run either an EOTech on it for close and stuff or a Vortex Viper PST 1-4x24 for whenever I need to reach out.
Those are such good optics for the price, that 1-4.
And you know what's great? I paid like $549 for it like 3 years ago, and now they're like $729. I love it. I keep telling the girlfriend that every time I drop like serious money on gun stuff, I'm like, the money's not gone. It's an investment. The only thing that will cause this asset to depreciate is legislation. So remember that when you vote.
No. That'll just make it cost more if they ban it.
Yeah, that's right. Tyler, think about what happened with the CZ858. It's a $650 rifle. Now, if you can find one, they're $1,000.
That's true.
That's because of legislation.
Yeah.
That's sad and depressing. Gavin, tell us about your AR-15.
I don't have one. But I do.
I know. Joke's on you.
Uh-oh, cuck alert. We got a cuck.
I do have this VZ58.
That's not an AR.
Yeah, everybody's got
Moving
it.
Everybody's got one. I got one right here, just laying around.
It's got an AR stock on it.
Mine's in my trunk where it should be.
That normally is in my trunk, but I was cleaning it earlier because I had it out yesterday for Father's Day.
I want to hear about that
Right.
railed dust cover sometime.
It works pretty good.
When are you getting to Brockville? Because Gavin's going to be there Thursday night.
I gotta do the AGM on Friday, so I won't get there till Saturday morning when the CCFR crew rolls in.
Too bad.
Yeah.
You could have took a look at it because I will have it in my trunk.
Okay, let's talk about Brockville, since a bunch of us are going.
Whoa! I don't get to talk about my AR?
You said STI, 24 inches, 15-inch handguard. You're bigger than everybody else.
No.
Are you going to talk about Brockville before we go over what everyone's drinking, though?
You said go to AR.
Okay, what's your go-to AR, Trevor? 30
All
seconds
right.
or less. Give her.
It's actually a NEA 14.5 with a Geisley Super Semi-Auto.
We don't say the N-word on this show.
It's been good to me, so it's not my 3-gun rifle. It's my go-to rifle, and it's got an EOTech 512 on it. Spikes tactical backups, a Canadian whatever the C8 charging handle is. What else is on it? That's it.
What about trigger? Did you mention your trigger?
Yeah, it's a Geisley.
I'm cheap. I'm a poor man, so I'm using the Rock River Arms National Match 2 stage, which we've talked about on the show before. Is like it's a good value trigger, but yeah, it's no Geisley.
Oh, I got mine second
It's no
hand.
Geisley, but the return on investment is
Yeah,
Yeah.
like 120 US. It's
Can't
pretty
beat it. I got mine 150. My buddy Jeffrey, so at the Calgary Shooting Center. If you don't shop there, you're a communist. He upgraded from the Super Semi-Auto to the Super Semi-Auto Enhanced, and then he went from. So I picked up the Super Semi-Auto. Then when he upgraded from the Super Semi-Auto Enhanced to the 3G, I got that one. So that went in Daniel Defense Mark 18 that I sold because I was a cuck that day.
So if it goes super semi-auto, does it then go full auto after that, or is there something even better than super semi-auto?
there's something better. Yes.
Yeah, but it's
You can't have it.
yeah.
Geisley's like HK. You suck and they hate you.
Yeah.
Actually, Geisley's not at all like HK, but seriously, buy an AR.
Yeah, what are you waiting for?
Waiting for them to outlaw them so that they become more readily available.
Do you guys know any? I won't ask if you have any 80% lowers because that would be rude. But do you guys know anybody who's got the jig?
I might know somebody that has a
I think we might
I know a guy.
I need to get in touch with that guy for a friend.
I know a guy that has like the AutoCAD drawings as well for doing a 2-piece lower.
Oh, wonderful.
Looks a lot like me, but don't know his name.
Different name, different social security
Different
number.
guy.
Yeah.
Scotch-Irish guys all look alike.
All white people look the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, Gavin.
All right.
Dead air.
Everybody took a drink break, so I'm using that as our crappy segue since somebody stole my good segue. I got segue jacked. What are we drinking tonight? Left to right on my screen, we're starting with Gavin.
I am, because of the lovely 5-star review that we got and this bottle of Shine that somebody sent me, I am drinking that, and it is phenomenal.
Does that actually have a handwritten sticker that says Shine on it?
I wrote that on it because it had a shitty...
Different label.
Yeah. What was it originally?
Doesn't
Limoncello sticker. So, thank you, Trevor. This is excellent.
You're quite welcome. Enjoy. It sneaks up on you. I'm just going to put that out there.
I am looking forward to that, as I'm sure our listeners are.
All right, now, are you taking it straight like a man, or are you mixing it up, or what are you doing?
I've mixed it with a little Sprite, but I did have a little swig of it straight. It's pretty good.
It is actually good. It's smooth straight, no question.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's also dangerous straight, so the Sprite is a good idea.
Yeah, mixed, you can't taste anything.
No.
Okay, Tyler, you're next on my list.
Carling. Because what was that I was saying about being poor?
Spent all the money on guns.
Spent all the money on
Has no
guns.
money for beer.
No, I gotta this will actually be the first time I've announced it. I got a baby on the way, so I can't be spending money on the good stuff.
Wow.
There it is.
Congrats, man.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
well done.
Only
Is
took
it-
somebody
is it-
20 seconds to say it. Jesus.
Is it yours?
It's because everyone is shocked and has nothing that they can say that's nice.
I hope so.
Well, I mean, at least you know you're not firing blanks.
I'm reasonably confident. Yeah, there's another joke in there about hot loads too, but
I appreciate you not making me edit that out. We do, however, have feedback in the live YouTube chat. If you listen to the show live on YouTube Mondays at 9 p.m., feel free to join our instant message chat program thingy. Then Victory says, "Congrats, Tyler!" Exclamation point.
oh, thank you.
So at least one person is impressed with your ability to reproduce.
Yeah, way to procreate, man.
Definitely 2 people, but due in November. So 2016, Matt's got a daughter on the way too. So 2016's a rough year for tyrants. That's for sure.
Oh dear. Trevor, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a infamous IPA from the Granville Island Brewery Company out in Vancouver, and when that's gone, I've got some good old reliable Molson Canadian lager to fall back on.
Have you ever been there? The brewery?
To the actual brewery, no, but I'm out in Vancouver after the handgun class that McClatchy and I are teaching in Edmonton this year. I'll be there on the 8th until the end of August, so I will try and look them up while I'm out there.
Yeah, check it out. You can like sample all their beers for like next to nothing, and also it's not an island. That's a lie. It's a peninsula. So try not to be too let down by that.
Well, after I've got about 6 in me, I will point that out to them. I will educate them on geography and landscapes.
Yeah, after that many though, you might not realize that it is a peninsula and just believe that it's an island.
I just walk off of it.
That's a possibility, I suppose.
Mm.
Fine, nobody's going to ask me, that's fine. I'm drinking homebrew again this week.
You are the one reading from your screen. It's you.
Oh.
You're
right.
the MC of the show. I mean,
that's a terrible. Don't put this on me. It's not my fault. That's all I have to say about that. I'm drinking homebrew IPA again this week, and
What's
it
the
is
alcohol
delicious. My very not good hydrometer tells me it's roughly 5, plus or minus 2.
That's not. It's like Molson Canadian makes an IPA that's 3%. I want to slap somebody at Molson Canadian. Give me a break.
That's not a beer. That's
no.
like children.
My IPA is 6, and I know my handguard's longer than yours, and now it's about the alcohol content of our beer. I really didn't mean for it to go this way, but yeah, man, 5% IPA. Come on.
Three though is nothing. That's like a training beer. Like
yeah, that's like Utah Mormon beer.
Yeah, there's something that's just catching on now here called a Radler. And
oh, God.
8 years ago when I was in Germany, this was like all the rage because in Germany you cannot be drunk and ride a bicycle. It's treated the same as drunk driving. You'll get ticketed. They'll take your driver's license, everything. Like there was actually one guy I knew that got like all jacked up. He actually spent like 2 nights in jail. And so these Radlers were really popular because they were like 2.5%, and that's what it is. Yeah. 3% is not a beer. That might as well come out of a fountain at McDonald's.
Yeah, there's more alcohol in the town water in Campbellton.
Yeah. Although a couple of Radlers in the heat today would have been nice.
Oh yeah. Mm.
Well, this is not a show where we talk about the weather. Moving on.
I thought we weren't going to go there.
Before we start, are those the beers that you're going to bring me to Brockville?
Yeah, I have to check in the beer room, but I think I have some more of these, and I might have some more cream ale if you're behaved.
Now I don't feel bad about hitting you up for one, so I can try your homebrew IPA.
Yeah, I'll bring like a 6-pack or something, or maybe 2 6s, however much I got left in the beer room, because we're in the middle of trying to buy a house, and I don't want to start making more beer if I then have to move before the beer is ready to move, because beer is not one of those things that you just put in a box and move and then unpack in a month.
No, but what you do when you're in high school and you put too much sugar in it and you bottled it too soon and it starts to explode, you put it in your shower next to your bedroom and wake up scared randomly when they blow up in the middle of the night. True story.
I guess you could do that.
My one and only experiment with brewing beer, back when you poured the contents of a can that looked like molasses into a pot on the stove and boiled it and added sugar.
Oh, extract brewing? That's so gross. Don't do that.
It was 1994. I was 18.
I don't even want to tell you how old I was, because this will be another measuring contest.
I was 6.
I wasn't actually 18. I'm lying. We won't tell.
What is it with the show in dead air? Let's move it on. Come on, let's keep going.
I thought we talked about moving on, and then we started talking about home brewing, and then anyway.
And the tape measures got pulled out again, and
so don't mess up my next awesome segue, because I don't have a good segue this time, but the next one I have an awesome segue. So who's going to the charity shoot next week?
I am.
All of us?
I will be there on the Thursday evening, and then I will be taking off.
Yeah, Gavin was invited
to invade Quebec.
Oh, Gavin, you're not going to be there at all on Saturday?
No, but I will be passing through again on Sunday. So if you guys are not too hungover, we can grab some breakfast or lunch, probably more appropriately.
I got to get back to Ottawa for a business meeting.
How much does that cost you? Is she cute?
Nothing. See, Tyler was funny. That's what funny is like, Andrew.
I'll take notes. Maybe someday I'll get it.
Edit out Andrew's comment. Leave mine in.
Yeah.
I'll let our editor know. All right, so we're going to the charity shoot. Tyler, you and I are both doing the pistol class on Friday with Fire Arts.
Fast.
Fire art solution training, something like
Yes.
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
RJ Woods.
Yes.
Yeah. I actually talked to Kelly about this because I had signed up for it, and I guess she knew that I'm not getting into shooting. And I guess the thing is more so geared towards new shooters. I guess like it's an introductory beginners level course. But my interest in it is I'm sure there's something that this guy teaches that's different than what I do. So I have a chance to learn a new skill set, and it might be more appropriate for a given situation. Like a different foot placement or whatever. So I'm totally down to just kind of go in there, blank slate, and just take all the instruction that the guy has to offer. And it's like a 250 round or so course. What is it, 10 to 5? So it should be a good day of shooting.
Tyler, I've trained with Rick. Oh crap, no less than 3 times. Once with maybe even 4 times with. He's been down here for archery shoot too, but Tom Nelson. A Masada Yub group instructor has come up here and put on a couple. Yeah, exactly. So Rick's come to his classes. Rick has come to both of the classes with Daniel Shaw from Thunderbird Academy. It's hard to get a guy that's better than Rick.
Perfect.
Awesome guy, and he's dedicated, and he's knowledgeable, and he can shoot, and I'm sure you're going to come away with something.
And yeah, that's the thing. It's like there's always something you can learn.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only $50 for the course.
It's $200 course.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been to Mag 40. I mean, this guy for the last 3 years has completely dedicated all of his free time when he's not making a baby to getting training and becoming a certified instructor. He's taken more classes in the last 3 years than I can shake a stick at. From some big names.
Oh, great! That gives me a lot of confidence. I'm actually really looking forward to this, especially because I've decided to shoot the summer's competition circuit with my Glock 34, whereas before I've been shooting, as he said, 75 SP01 Shadow. So now I'm kind of starting fresh with a new gun. So this will be a really good opportunity to kind of, maybe he'll see some things that I'm doing wrong, some bad habits that have carried over from a different gun. And yeah.
You're going from the Shadow to the Glock?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I just want to master another gun. That's it.
Okay, cool.
Only reason. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a shitty trigger, and I want to learn how to shoot a gun with a shitty trigger. So.
No, you know what? I don't believe in that old adage, beware the man with one gun. Beware the man who can operate many guns.
That's what I'm going for. I want a nice, forgive the Magpul terminology. I want a dynamic skill set.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It was a cool saying or expression until they cucked it up.
I don't know if I have to edit that out to maintain our iTunes rating.
So what are you hoping to get out of it, Andrew?
Same as you, basically. It's just another instructor, so I want to see what he can teach me, what his thoughts are on what I do, and if there's a different way that I can do something to be more efficient, because I do all the competitive shooting stuff, right? So, I mean, if he's got a better way that'll save me a couple of seconds or earn me a couple of points, great. If not, I mean, it's another opportunity to get out on the range with some good folks and get a training day in, because there's a difference. Even if I don't learn anything new, there's a difference between training and in practicing, right? And this is a professional instructor, so it will be training, because he can correct me. Even if I'm not learning anything new, if I mess something up, or if I have like a grip placement issue, or if he sees that I'm fumbling a reload, something like that, like he can correct that, which is stuff that I can't do on my own when I'm practicing.
Well, yeah, if anything, it reinforces stuff, right? Like.
Yep, absolutely. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be a good course. I mean, great that we're paying $50 instead of $200 like normal. Great that I'm gonna be doing it with you in Brockville.
Mm-hmm. And Matt will be there too.
Oh, Matt's doing it too. That's awesome.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to that course that he's doing in August that I know you signed up for, out in London.
Yes,
Active
you and I
Killer
are doing it in
Defense.
London, and yes, Gavin and I are doing Active Killer Defense.
Nice.
They didn't invite me.
Everyone is
sign up.
invited. It's on the internet.
Yeah. If you tell them you're a teacher, you can do it for free.
I regularly verbally assist people back into their own lane. Does that make me a teacher?
Do you flip them off at the same time? Because then
Depends.
it doesn't count. Then it doesn't count.
Oh, it doesn't count. Okay, and on Saturday, Trevor, you're coming to the actual charity shoot event on Saturday?
Absolutely, yeah.
Great. And what are you doing at the charity shoot event?
Well, besides all the regular stuff, Brian Bolivar challenged me to a duel, and so we're going to jump each other with airsoft guns. And
that's illegal in this country. You're not allowed to do that.
First blood, and it's airsoft, so I got to hold the prick down and let him have it in the face. But to get first blood with an airsoft, I imagine, yeah. So, but
just bludgeon him.
Yeah, pistol whip him with an airsoft pistol. I like how you operate. That's good.
Yeah, the penalty for challenging somebody to a duel is up to 2 years, and the penalty for accepting a challenge to a duel is also up to 2 years.
Damn.
What would be awesome is if the guy that accepts the duel gets sent away for jail for 2 years, and the guy that the duel only gets like a year.
Yeah, that would be the way I would expect it to work.
Yeah.
Because the guy who would challenge somebody to a duel is probably like more of an alpha type, and the other guy is probably like super meek in court and just takes the plea.
Yeah.
Years, no permanent record.
I'm not taking the plea. I'm going to shoot Brian down, and I'm going to lawyer up.
That's a good plan. All right. Also coming to us from Brockville. So this should be exciting while we're there this weekend.
I hope we find this guy.
Recently, a man has been charged after a fiery argument over whether the Earth is flat or round. Yes. This comes to us from CTV News. As always, you can find all the links to all of the news that we talk about in our show notes. A 56-year-old man in Eastern Ontario is wanted by police on a mischief charge after he allegedly threw a propane tank into a fire during an argument with his son's girlfriend over whether the Earth was flat or not. Stay classy, Brockville.
What I want to know is, was he on the side of the Earth being flat or
No,
round?
he was the round earther. The woman was the flat earther. The young girl.
I can't believe the
I
number
would've
of
figured that
times we've
would've been
talked
the
about the
other way.
flat Earth on this show.
I just want to know where they stand on creationism in all of this. They must have an opinion on creationism.
Oh,
I'm
God,
also curious, was it a full-size barbecue propane tank, or was it one of those little 1-liter ones you get for the camping barbecues?
I think
It's got to be a pounder, right? Like,
now the trailer park they live in probably has restrictions on the size of propane tank you can use.
Yeah, it's probably one of those like mini keg ones that's like.
Did the guy like totally hulk out and like roll the residential-sized one into the fire?
And Mr. Leahy and Randy showed up to bust up the party.
I find that funny because, like, yeah, where I know it's a thing, but like, where does that idea of the Earth being flat? Where does that come from, and where is it fostered and nurtured? Where does that happen?
I think it comes from 1213.
Yeah, and that's where it should have stayed.
Yeah.
Like I said this before when we talked. I have more respect for people that believe in crazy religions because there is no proof that God doesn't exist, but there is a ton of proof that the world is round.
Yeah, it's called
how
a
do you
boat.
explain lighthouses?
Well, and like planes
seriously,
and boats
the Earth
and all
is
of
flat.
like.
Explain if lighthouses didn't work, how would the Earth be round? Like, if it was round, you wouldn't be able to see the light. Lighthouses prove the Earth is flat.
So this is a true story. We're in the car, my wife and my mother-in-law and I, and we're driving on the highway, and we take a turn. And she says, and I quote, "Well, isn't that funny?" "What's that?" No, I won't say her name. Oh, fuck it. "What's that, Rose?" She says, "Well, a while ago, the moon was in front of the car, but now when I look out the side of the car, the moon is over here." I can't make this up. That's a true story. Yeah, it's because the road has changed directions, Rose. Oh, well, that makes sense, she said. These are the people that can be talked into the fact that the Earth is flat. Or not
They
the fact,
also
but...
vote, and often they reproduce.
Well, if she didn't reproduce, I wouldn't have a wife. So, take the good with the bad, I guess.
Okay, well, since Trevor is talking about people's mother-in-laws. We're going to use that as our not-so-great segue into the next story.
That's such a good story, though.
Ottawa woman accused of impersonating elderly mom for driving test. Did you know it's illegal to impersonate your own mother for a driving test? Surprise, it is.
What if you impersonate someone that's not your mother? Is that still illegal?
No.
It is still a chargeable offense. It's impersonating an adult, I think. It's got a stupid name.
Well, it would be like fraudulently filling out a government form or something. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to use my comment time to tell my story. So I knew a guy who said that the reason why the flight from Toronto to Florida was faster than the flight from Florida back to Toronto was because it was downhill.
It's uphill. Yeah, I knew it. As a New Brunswicker living in the north, Tyler, I suffer from this all the time. No one from the south wants to travel to the north for sporting events or shoots or archery tournaments because it takes longer to drive from the south to northern New Brunswick than it does to drive from the north to the south. And that's the argument. Well, it's uphill when we go up there.
Totally worth it, Andrew.
No, I'm good with that. We still got 3 minutes on this story, though, if anybody wants to say anything about this person impersonating her mother.
Yeah, I mean, if you had to do that because your mother is so blind or just inept at driving, do you really want them on the road? For their own safety, let alone someone else's, for their own safety. That's not being a good child.
I'm going to throw this out there, too, not to, turn it into a super, edgy, risque topic, but you have the issue.
Says the edgelord.
You have the issue with the burqas and the hijab, right? If you're not really identifying yourself, you've got all kinds of ways for people to, take qualification tests for other people. There's obviously an issue. There's potential for mischief there.
I agree with you 100% on that. I mean, I don't think you should be able to wear anything that covers your face when you do any sort of government photo ID.
Well, we've talked about this on the show before, and that's my opinion, yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
One rule for everybody. If one person, one group gets to cover their face for a reason, whatever that reason is, then everybody does. So if I show up to the government with a ski mask on, I should still get whatever my government service is.
Or a colander, a spaghetti colander, right?
Yeah, and there was a guy who tried to vote, I think in... whenever Harper got the majority, there's a guy who tried to vote with a pumpkin on his head. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was funny. It was in Quebec. There was a bunch of people putting pumpkins in various squash on their head. Yeah, no, one set of laws for everybody. That's all I'm saying. If one group of people, for whatever reason, gets to wear a disguise, then I get to wear a disguise too.
Yeah, I mean, I even would say that, even if you wear one of the ones that, doesn't cover your face, but just as a hood, when you're driving, that could be a problem. And same goes for somebody wearing just a hoodie or something like that, or a winter coat with the hood up. I mean, that could obstruct your vision while driving and could be pretty dangerous.
No, I'm demonstrating a little bit of ignorance here, but if you're wearing the full body covering, you're also probably not driving if you're in that culture.
That's true. Probably not.
Yeah.
Well, that depends. Are you in Canada or Saudi Arabia? Because one of those you can still drive.
Yeah, but do they? Because if they're submitting to the full covering, they probably submit to that custom too. I don't know. Again, like I said, I preface that with I'm demonstrating some ignorance here. I'm just throwing a comment out there for people.
I realize this is totally an anecdotal story, but I have seen people in my municipality wearing what appears to me to be a burqa, the full doodad.
All right,
and driving minivans.
It's probably a white dude making a getaway from a robbery.
What's the difference?
And that's a brilliant disguise.
Andrew, what's the difference between a burqa and a hijab?
The burqa is the one that covers everything but the eyes, and the hijab is the one that they wrap around all of their hair and neck.
Just a scarf, okay.
Well, no, not because there's a niqab and a hijab, and they're different. There's two scarves.
And
that I will agree with Andrew's comment that they do drive because there is a Islamic school right next to my office, and in the morning I do see them carpooling together.
Life is so different in New Brunswick. There's no schools in New Brunswick other than the just plain old regular Department of Education schools. There's no Catholic schools. There's no Muslim schools.
And when we're done recording this episode, remind me because I have a very offside story to tell.
Very good.
All right. With that, moving on. Gavin, bring us our first piece of sad news because all of the funny news is now over.
Well, I guess this isn't sad. I guess this is good, sort of. But
okay, serious news then.
Yeah.
We'll call it serious news.
Some of these are pretty sad, but this one, I guess, if you happen to be a pot smoker, is good news for you. So maybe for them it is happy. But there's a handful of insurance companies, Canada Life, what is it, Great West Life, and there's one other one. It's not opening up the article, but they have decided or declared that marijuana smoke is not smoking. So if you fill out your insurance form, you still have to tick the little box that says, yes, you are a smoker, but there's a subsequent form you can fill out to say, just kidding, guys, it's only pot, not tobacco. And then you should actually get a break on what your insurance costs. So it looks like the insurance companies are moving at a faster pace of getting this going than the government is doing it.
What? Private industry outstripping government? I am shocked.
I know.
Even if it is the insurance industry.
Which is the devil. I mean, it's the biggest legalized form of extortion I've ever seen.
Well,
And second only to the government, maybe.
Yeah. But at least they will give you an insurance break if you're only a pot smoker. So no mixing your pot with tobacco anymore, guys. Just straight marijuana.
Just
One
vape it.
beneficial fallout from this would be there's now an incentive on the part of the insurance companies to seriously study the effects of marijuana smoking so that they can find a way to screw you.
That
Right.
would, yeah, but that would involve spending money. So they're not going to do a serious study.
Well, they're going to spend money to save money by not having to insure people, right?
Or they're just going to read somebody else's research, publish it under that person's name, and go, and this is why we're canceling you.
But this is how you get to admit to it first.
Yeah, so
Offer
you're
up an insurance
going to
break.
go one of two ways, right? If they start to do serious research, then they're either going to find that there are adverse health effects that people should know about, or that a lot of the concerns are false.
Yeah.
So we can only benefit from more knowledge.
Or they will just charge you more. Because they can't. The insurance company does two things. They outright cancel you, or they rank you as high risk and charge you more.
Yeah.
So smoking marijuana is not smoking, so we're still going to cover you. But recently we found out that smoking marijuana has the potential to lead to such and such in this sector of the population. So since you've ticked off the box, yeah, it's not tobacco smoking, but it's still smoking, and it could lead to this, so now you have to pay a premium.
I'm just waiting
You
like
got a
10,
higher
15
chance
years.
of eating snacks.
10, 15 years from now, we're going to be in like the Gattaca situation where they can just take your blood test and then they automatically know like what you're going to get, what you're susceptible to, and then if you have shitty genes, you're screwed.
You know what?
That would be the way it works.
What I'd like to, I have a similar kind of notion, and that is the stupid sign. Have you heard of the stupid sign?
I have not. This isn't a trick, right? To make me look stupid.
No, it's
that
in
card.
my world. In my world, it's a real thing. If we could identify all the stupid people and simply give them a sign, we would never trust these fuckers to do anything important, and productivity would go up. Right? Hey, excuse me, can I get
We'd
some
also
help?
run out of politicians.
Yeah, well, that or we'd get better ones. But it'd be like, you're looking to get some help with something. Excuse me, sir, could I get you to? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your sign. Carry on. Go back to licking your elbow. I'll ask somebody else. Same idea.
You just described my shopping experience at Home Depot on the weekend.
or any Walmart.
These people are out there. I know somebody who's been fired from Bulk Barn from her part-time job, and her responsibilities included walking around and cleaning the scoops off. And the reason why they dismissed her was that she wasn't cut out for it. So, there's that.
Let me guess, she's also campaigning for $15 an hour.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Likely.
Listen,
Probably voted for Sunny Ways, too.
I asked for
Well,
bacon.
speaking
You
of-
gave me sausage. You had one friggin' job. You don't deserve $15 an hour.
Yeah.
Oh,
When you
we can have
ask
a
for
conversation.
sausage on an everything bagel, no cheese, and you get bacon on a biscuit with cheese, something's wrong. That's happened more than once.
Is that a language barrier?
No. Okay, I live in Thornbury. All right, I live in the Blue Mountains. It is. I looked it up on Wikipedia. It is 99.8% white. Everybody has English as a first language, right? And the 0.2% of people who don't identify as white are probably still like 7/8 white and like 1/8 native, right?
Yeah.
But they just check off native to get the check.
Yeah.
Like, I don't live in the same environment that Gavin and Andrew live in.
No, you're living close to where I am.
Yeah.
Okay, ruined another one of my segues. I was going to say people that aren't cut out for things. Justin Trudeau.
I think
says
we
Canada
set
must-
you up nicely, but you dropped the ball. Work with us.
No, you guys, I didn't want to interrupt you when you were talking about Tyler's living situation.
I'm
My
saying.
awesome living situation.
Justin Trudeau says Canada must address housing affordability, air quotes, crisis. I guess they're not air quotes, they're legitimate quotes on this Global News article. So, have you guys seen what's going on in Vancouver the last, 5 years or so?
The same thing that's happening in Ontario.
I couldn't believe it when I was out there. Like, I moved out of one house a couple of years ago and moved into this place. My house, I bought my house for $79,900, okay, and it was a 4-bedroom, finished basement, ocean view, hardwood floors, central air, central heat, garage, paved driveway.
What year was this?
We bought the house in 2006 or 7.
That's how much my parents paid for the home I grew up in '78 in Southern Ontario.
I sold the house for 57. I paid $5,000 out of pocket to get rid of it.
Ooh.
Then we move 45 minutes north into a house that was built in the 50s, 3 stories, I had 4 bedrooms, a huge backyard for a quote-unquote city lot, and this place was $89,000, right? My other place I paid $79,000 for. I had friends from Victoria come visit, and they were like, "This house in Victoria is $450,000 7 days of the week." I couldn't believe that the houses I was seeing out in Vancouver that were $800,000, $900,000 that you could build out here for $100,000.
I do have some unique insight into this for 2 reasons. Number one, I'm in project management. I build homes for a living. And number 2, my girlfriend worked on a contract with Coca-Cola in Vancouver, lived right in downtown Vancouver for a year and a half. And she paid $1,400 a month for a tiny studio apartment.
Yep.
And that was like the cheapest place she could find.
Yeah, our mortgage is $600 a month, Tyler.
Yeah. Like here, like you were saying, you pay $80 some odd thousand for a reasonable middle class home. $80,000 in Thornbury, a small town of 7,500 people in Ontario, won't even get you a lot. It will get you 40% of a lot.
Wow.
That's
Don't
how
even
much.
get you 40% of the lot where I live. In Southern Ontario, you can't get a lot for less than $100,000.
People in Ontario that used to live in New Brunswick, they were born in New Brunswick in the 50s or 60s. They moved to Ontario, they got jobs, they retired, they sold their house, they came to New Brunswick, and they could have bought 2 in cash.
I'll tell you, me and my company, we bought a lot 2 years ago for $212,500, and we're going to be putting it on the market for like $242,000 soon, and it will go. It will move. And it's just an empty lot.
All you do is sit on it.
All you do is sit on it for 2 years. Yeah.
So why, right? What's the draw? Why is it so artificially inflated?
Well, it's a supply and demand equation. There's simply a dwindling supply and an increasing demand. The price will only go up.
I get that in Fort Mac, where they're just flooded with newfies coming in to work the oil rigs or the tar sands.
They ruin everything, don't they?
Oh, I got a great newfie joke for after the show. But the Fort Mac boom was the Ontario boom, or Ontario had what Fort Mac is going through in the 70s and 80s when the auto sector was exploding. Why now? I mean, you got wind ruining the place.
Yeah, but the investors coming in from Hong Kong and the Middle East that have money out of the ass that don't know that stuff, they come in and they buy like full condos in the GTA without ever having set foot in the country, and then resell them once the thing's actually built.
Well, and then it's a trickle-down effect is the problem that we're finding. So all these yahoos from Toronto that don't want to live in Toronto anymore because Toronto's getting bought out by overseas investment money, they're all moving out to my part of southern Ontario, and they're buying rural properties sight unseen with more than the asking price.
So Canada is being sold to non-Canadians and making it so that Canadians can't afford it.
Well,
That is exactly what's going on.
That is happening to a much greater extent in Vancouver.
Oh, yeah, and that's been going on in Vancouver since the 60s.
It's primarily Chinese, Japanese, and Korean multimillionaires, like big, corporate execs that buy land and hold homes, and then they have a vote in the municipal elections and whatnot. And they usually buy these places for their children, who then grow up there. And that's one of the big problems that my girlfriend always described to me, was that there were like the rich kid syndrome, and it was predominantly in the Asian community because they were just like kids with just bottomless trust funds that were just plopped down there. You'd have 18-year-old Chinese guys driving around in Lamborghinis, that type of thing. There's a lot of money, and of course that drives the price up because there's only so much real estate to go around. But in Ontario, at least in my neck of the woods where I do business, just today I was in Meaford, tiny small town Ontario, really like nice quaint town. They call it the Little Big Apple. It's just all like apple orchard community. And Mike Holmes, the home building guy on TV, he spearheaded a project in Meaford, and they're selling 1,200 square foot homes for $400,000.
Who lives in Meaford and is going to buy a $400,000 house, though?
So I was there because I was interested, for an investment perspective. So I'm there and I'm talking to the woman in the showroom, and I'm like, who's buying? And she's, well, primarily people from the GTA. And are they young families? Are they older people? Primarily older people. So these are people who have already worked. They worked during the economic boom times in prior decades. They've made all their money. They're done paying taxes. And now they want to get out of the hell that they created in the GTA and retire to the nicer places that are left in this province.
How can anybody in Ontario have any money to do anything with other than pay bills? I'm looking at, I'm in education, and education sucks. The Liberals are in power, and they're just raping the ass out of the education system. And so I applied for
editing.
Which is funny because that's what they're teaching in the new sex ed classes.
So I'm don't threaten me with a good time. So I'm looking at I applied for a job at the CBSA, and then I get updates from the Government of Canada's job bank. They send me emails every day with government jobs, and I'm looking at jobs for the Ottawa region, and they're like 47,000. 67,000. Once in a while, you see one for 90,000, and I'm like, you know what? 90,000 in Ottawa is not enough. Not for the cost of living out there. 90,000 in New Brunswick leaves you with about, after taxes, $4,000 a month to piss away.
Yeah.
Well, that includes paying your car and your utilities and your mortgage, but still,
it just doesn't go very far here.
Oh man.
No, not at all.
No.
It just doesn't.
So we're way over on that one. Let's go on to the next one.
Oh, it's such a good topic.
We should do a whole episode on that, which somebody put it in the show notes for a future week.
All right, fine.
All right, the next one. Gavin brought us this one. Internet history of Harper PMO deleted from Google results is at Ottawa's request.
Wow.
Gavin, tell us things.
I guess Trudeau didn't want anything and everything to do with Harper showing up when you Googled stuff about government in Canada, because he is the shiny pony to be number one in all the Google hits.
It's mere presence.
I mean,
His mere presence will cause you to elbow an MP in the tits.
It's true.
Yeah.
So
I've seen that happen.
He wields power.
Yeah. He makes everybody so nervous that they go and just lose their minds. And apparently, if you Google search something and it doesn't show up, it never happened.
Wow.
What's funny is, like, a lot of people hated Harper, and that's, I would say, the primary reason that Trudeau won the election. So why go to the effort to erase, the records of the accomplishments of his administration? And I'm going to say I voted for Harper, and he was a gigantic disappointment in most respects, with the exception of the few concessions and the few saves that he did do. But in most respects, he was not the small government hero that I hoped he would be, that rode in on his magic carpet and hacked and slashed budgets left, right, and center and fired people. Like, it just didn't happen. I just don't understand why the Liberal government would be so motivated to go after Google to make these changes.
Well, you do understand why. It goes back to that one guy. Sorry, Andrew.
Yeah, no, go.
Well, it's, as we said, the shiny pony doesn't want any record of him being there. I've seen this before. I mean, locally, the Royal New Brunswick Rifle Association, there was a coup staged. They outed Bob Kierstead, the president, and if you go to the Royal New Brunswick Rifle Association's website, of course, we've had another election since then, but on the list of executives, he was not listed as the current past president, where for decades that was always done. If you were the current past president, you were listed alongside the executive, but they wanted this guy gone so bad, they actually took that off the website. And that sort of stuff comes out of just straight up pettiness and jealousy and hatred, and it's the shiny pony. I mean, Gavin said it.
So what past political movements have we seen where they've tried to rewrite the history?
All of them.
It's a pretty nasty indicator of the attitude and intentions of the current establishment.
It is very 1984 of them is my concern over this, and the part that I was about to say there, Tyler, was something that I think I've heard you say before on International Liberty or Death podcast, and it's a statement to the mentality of the left. They can't deal with any kind of criticism or competition.
Yeah, that's very true.
And I think retroactively, this is still, to the current governing party, this is competition, because it's somebody that holds a different viewpoint from what theirs is, and they want to erase it. And that part is very 1984 and scares me.
That's very true, and that truth is planted across the entirety of the left spectrum. Like, for example, the point we brought up 20 minutes ago about the issue with the face coverings and stuff, their response to that would be, oh, that's racist, right? Like, they wouldn't even address the problem. They wouldn't even acknowledge that there is an issue to be discussed there. They just try and dismiss it outright to avoid the conversation.
When did criticizing religion become an issue of race?
Well, the religion is primarily tied to a identifiable racial group. I understand that the Middle East is a total mess of ethnicities, but when you juxtapose that against white people in North America who primarily identify as white people and not Irish, German, etc., then it just becomes a simplification of just skin color.
Yeah,
I understand them likening it to that, but
religiousist doesn't sound as good.
Yeah, exactly, Gavin. They're going for the low-hanging fruit. Your hatred is for the radical Islam, but
but I think that's part of the problem is that a lot of people that go after things like that, like Tyler's saying, low-hanging fruit. Like, you go after people that are Islamic who predominantly happen to be of a certain ethnicity. You don't go after, like Andrew was saying, guys in ski masks. You need to make a stand and say, it's not just this, it's anyone that covers their face. Mm-hmm. I don't care what religion, what color, whatever you are, you can't cover your face, period. Like, you got to make but the problem is nobody else really does that. So it gets tied into race and religion, and it's hard to separate the two sometimes. And yeah, religiousist just doesn't have a nice ring to it as racist.
Too many syllables, people can't handle it.
But
let's just bring it back. They will defer the real issue at hand and try and dismiss it outright. And one way that they do that is, if they are in power, they will control the dissemination of information. And here we have it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and another example is what happened in Orlando last week. Orlando
No,
last week had
this is a
nothing.
Canadian show. No. Next topic. We're moving on.
Oh,
Stepped right on my sack. Did you see that, guys?
he's a fun sponge.
No, that's
that's
5
probably
minutes,
'cause-
and we don't do U.S. news.
And
You
that's
want
probably
U.S.
'cause
news, go listen to U.S. shows.
It does have relevance to the podcast, right? Because it affects us.
Canadians have been talking about the AR-15 since that happened, and
Okay, you got 5 minutes. Give it. I'm going to write it into the show notes.
Go for it. The AR-15 petition that was brought forth in Parliament is now in the news, and the MP who brought it forward is being criticized for bringing it forward because it's something that didn't even happen in our country. And examples are being pointed out about how this rifle is no different than many other rifles we have that are non-restricted. I'm like, why are we talking about rifles? What in the cripes does this have to do with rifles? This has nothing to do with rifles. This has to do with radical Islam. But let's not talk about that. Let's pick on the rifle. This problem could not be solved by gun control. No way, no how. There was no gun control that could have solved people using cooking ware to blow people up at the Boston Marathon. Timothy McVeigh did not use an AR-15 or any other kind of rifle to kill more Americans than anybody else in a terrorist attack. We're talking about rifles?
The deadliest single attack on U.S. soil was carried out with box cutters and communication, right?
Yeah, 19 guys knocked down 3 buildings. We didn't go after airplanes.
Well,
I would like to know why the media is not using a much more prolific event to compare to mass shootings in the U.S., which would be Waco, Texas, which would be perpetrated by their own government.
And that's why.
Well, that's
because the narrative.
That's because
Yes.
full auto ARs were used in that attack by the government.
Yeah. Because if you focus on that, then people might, I have little faith that they will, but they might actually realize that ARs in the hands of the government are actually more dangerous than ARs in the hands of private citizens.
No, but up here we call them patrol carbines.
Right, patrol carbines.
Yeah.
But, it doesn't fit the
only when
narrative.
the police
right?
have them.
That's what it comes down to. It doesn't fit the narrative, and so that's why they don't talk about it.
That's
and
why we're
I've had
talking.
these conversations, and like I'm going to be the first to admit I live in an echo chamber for the most part, and that's not by design. It's just by coincidence, and that I befriend people that share my views and that I actually have a genuine interest in talking to. But my girlfriend, for example, has all kinds of friends from her career through school and whatnot who are total idiots. They just live with their head shoved like firmly up their ass, and they'll come out and signal against the AR-15 like it's ass is not a bad word, Andrew. Don't shake your head.
That's today's bandwagon, though, Tyler.
Yeah, so they'll jump. They'll be like,
You know?
AR-15, oh, terrible. Oh my God, it fires so many rounds. Why do you need that? Why do you need that? And then my girlfriend, she's a gunny. She's got all kinds of guns. She shoots, and she'll try and argue with these people using logic, and she does a very nice job. But I keep telling her, you are wasting your time. These people, you are trying to be rational with irrational people. You are not going to win them over. If you corner them with logic, they are going to say your facts are wrong. Oh, it's the NRA has skewed them somehow, for example.
You
Like
still
that is how they dismiss the reality of the situation.
I appreciate where you're coming from, but I respectfully disagree in that we can never not argue with them because they wrap themselves up in the narrative that they want to be exposed to. So if we don't interject once in a while with our side of it, then they're completely lost and we'll never get anybody on the fence or on our side.
I agree with that too. And to go into greater detail of the conversation that I had with her, I said the value of your conversation with these people, you debating these people, you have to realize that you are probably not going to change their mind, but you will make them feel like they have looked so stupid that they will not open their mouth again and poison the minds of other people. That's the real battle, in my opinion.
And then, you know what? And if that's what happens, that's still kind of a win.
That is a win. That's what I said. It's like don't worry about this person being a dumbass. You're achieving victory by this person walking away from the conversation.
Shutting up. Yep.
That's right.
That and hopefully someone else is in earshot and will be on the fence and actually listen and.
Yeah, and being informed, that's the key. I would chime in and be like, no, okay, this terminology is wrong. What you've cited in legislation is wrong, and just citation. But it gets exhausting, obviously, because these people are endless.
It does, man. Like Like, I've tried to leave.
Unless they are stupid. Like, they don't understand what the current legislation is. They don't understand what any of the technical implications of the discussion they're having is. And after a while, I'm with Tyler. Explaining the fact that it's not an assault rifle time after time wears on a person.
Mhm.
I just like going about the so okay, if there's no such thing, or if assault rifles exist, what about a defense rifle? Does that exist?
Oh,
Well, no, that's ridiculous. And then you just kind of go, exactly.
They'll be like,
Yeah,
oh, defensive tools are tasers, mace, whatever. But go ahead. I got to calm down. Go ahead.
No, but this is gonna spin you up more, Tyler. Have you seen this shit? Lately, they're saying that the actual definition of an assault rifle is very obscure. No, it's not. But CBC did a piece with Rod Giltaka and somebody else, and we always take the stance that an assault rifle is a select fire weapon.
Sure. That fires an intermediate cartridge.
Right. Now they're trying to say that no, an assault rifle can include a semi-auto. They're really good. That's been our argument. You're calling these semi-auto sporting rifles assault rifles when they're not, and now they're saying, well, let's loosen up the definition of assault rifle so we can call everything assault rifle because assault rifles are scary. And if we can make your rifle, your VZ58 or your CZ858 an assault rifle, well, then you can't have it.
And that this is where it becomes like super problematic because we're trying to fight a battle like using logic and rationality by saying, no, you're wrong, your terminology is wrong, and assault rifles as they exist like in the real world with technical definitions are already outlawed. So, maybe you shouldn't be so concerned about them. But that doesn't matter to them. Like for them, the narrative has already established that this gun is bad. And whether they choose to call it an assault rifle or a patrol carbine or a semi-automatic sporting rifle, it doesn't matter. This gun's got to go.
As long as we're talking about guns and not radical Islam and bigots and hate crime, that's all that matters.
And I agree with that too. Is like if we're going to draw the line here and keep the conversation here,
we need to push it back though.
No, but that's what I mean, though. If we were to give up guns, then what does the next issue become? And we're that much farther away from discussing the real issues that are beyond guns, what you just described. So we have to, draw the line here and, stand our ground and then push back. Once we have one that controlled the debate, controlled the terms of the debate and controlled the narrative on guns and dismissed all the idiots and made them look like fools, then we can move on to the real issues.
If you really want to talk about gun control with this issue, what form of gun control anywhere in the world would have actually stopped this guy from using any type of firearm from shooting people?
And that should have been the only thing we said, Andrew, and then move the conversation away from guns, because this wasn't about guns. And we allowed them to make it about guns by engaging them in debates about the validity of owning an AR-15, and we never should have engaged them in that. We should have.
I agree. I'm quite happy to have a discussion with somebody about the validity of owning certain types of firearms. But at the end of the day, and I've said it. No, not in this case. I'm happy to have that as a separate discussion because I've said it before. And I will keep harping on the point, a gun is a gun is a gun, and it doesn't matter how it operates.
Sure. And their answer to that is, well, then we need to get rid of all guns, which all of us know is completely impossible because someone will make a gun in the basement.
If we got rid of all the guns, if we had a gun disappearing machine, you push the button and the guns were just gone. Fine.
Then what would they blame the problem on?
Exactly. Because if you want to talk about it as a danger to society, a danger to children, a danger to non-implement using individuals, ban alcohol, ban cars, ban swimming pools,
hot dogs.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. Like, if you really want to talk about public safety, more people get killed in a swimming pool by drowning accidentally than get killed accidentally or on purpose, for that matter, with firearms.
Well, more people get murdered with fists, so we're gonna have to ban fists.
Exactly, and if you want to have that as an individual conversation, I'm happy to have that conversation with somebody.
And more people die on the roads in this country, right? So
exactly.
Anytime we talk about being libertarians, people are like, oh, more roads, what's going to happen without the government? Well, actually, we'd probably live longer, but we'd be dying on the roads.
I mean, more people die of the flu every year, so let's ban the flu too, right?
Yeah.
You
know,
if you want,
murder's already illegal.
Take it a step further. More people get killed every year by negligence from their medical providers in doctors issuing incorrect prescriptions than are killed with firearms.
Absolutely.
Well, that and you're
so
more
what?
likely
Ban
to
doctors?
get you're more likely to get 5 out of 6 of your lottery numbers right than you are to die of a violent crime in Canada. Like,
two things.
Not just guns, but a whole violent crime in general. 5 out of 6 lottery numbers is more likely, and how many people have done that?
Look, we made drugs illegal, and everyone stopped taking them.
Right, exactly.
If gun buybacks work, we need to start doing heroin and cocaine buybacks.
No, when they start doing that gun buyback, I'm going to sit across the street offering them $11 instead of $10 for a grocery voucher.
No,
that happened.
I collect busted guns because of my role in my local gun club. Occasionally I get people that are like, oh, Grandpa doesn't want this gun anymore, we have to put him in a home, or we're moving him, it was never registered. So I have all of these non-registered, non-functional firearms. I'm just waiting for a gun buyback so I can turn it in and get like $50 or a camera or whatever.
Yeah, and then go pawn the camera.
Yeah, but I'll sit across the street, and if there's something that I want, I'll be like, all right, they're going to give you a $10 voucher for groceries. Here's $11 to go buy booze or whatever you want.
Here's a bottle of
yeah, $15. That buys 3 games of pool. You know, we'll be all over that. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I think maybe the closing note would be that this club was a gun-free zone. Right? Yeah. There was already an established rule there: no guns allowed.
Yeah, which is why nobody in Florida was carrying them, because there's a lot of people that have their concealed carry permit in Florida.
Florida's a shall-issue state. A lot of people carry in Florida. My real estate agent lives in Florida 6 months out of the year, and he's trying to figure out how he can carry there.
Just needs an address.
Yeah. Well, he has an address, but you have to live there like 6 months plus 1 day to qualify as a resident. And they won't issue a permit. Florida won't issue a permit to a non-resident who is a non-resident immigrant alien, essentially. He's going to get the New Hampshire permit, maybe, and it might have reciprocity with Florida. I have to look into that. But
do you know how many Canadians bought New Hampshire permits because of podcasting in the last 3 months? Yeah, there you go.
I have one. I got it because of Pierre Plord. He told me that it was.
Who's a cock, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, he is, but
but not in the state of New Hampshire.
Not in the state of New Hampshire or 30 other states.
No, he is.
So while we're on the topic of AR-15s, scroll way down in your show notes because we're out of order.
You're out
of article. You, sir, are out of order. The Hamilton Spectre is reported. There's lots of places that reported this. The public safety minister rejects call to classify AR-15 rifle. So I'm not going to use his honorific, but Mr. Goodall basically told us to go pound sand, despite the fact that this is the highest number of signatures on a petition in the history of Canadian parliaments, in excess of 25,000 signatures, and the government's official position is, fuck you guys.
Well, okay, 2 things. Number 1, it's the best possible outcome we could have possibly hoped for. It's actually quite the coincidence that we were able to submit this petition with so many signatures, and then this like horrible thing happens in Orlando, and then it's like, okay, well, the government, from the government's perspective, our action will be to ignore the calls from the gun lobby, right? So we just get status quo, which is a lot better than what could happen. So, like, that being said, the other thing is that I have said previously, you have a certain set like rubric of means of recourse when the government wrongs you, right? Like you can petition the government, and if they ignore your petition, you can take to the streets and riot. And if they ignore your riot or your protest or your demonstration, then you could challenge them in court. And then if they dismiss you in court, then you could take up arms against them. Like there's a certain set of steps that you can take to get what you want if you're willing to take it that far. So what does this mean for Gins? If we have this mechanism to petition the government, and when we have the highest, like the petition with the highest number of signatures, and it's presented to them, and the response is, "Nah, we're not going to do it." So what? How is this mechanism of petition? How can it be considered meaningful if that's their response?
Oh, it's not.
And what does that mean
And I
for
want to-
Canadians? What does that mean for the recourse they have for things that actually
So-
matter?
I want to see what the first petition is that the Liberal government acknowledges that actually has them side with that petition. Because there's lots of
It'll be something
petitions
that fits
available.
their narrative. Full
I'm
stop.
pretty-
It'll be
I'm-
something that they would have done already, and they just needed the excuse to do it. That's it.
And that's what I said. So as soon as they start doing that, the political process that we have as in the form of petitions is useless.
I don't know, but they are pushing a few petitions forward, like the one that we're going to talk about later.
Yeah. And thank you, Gavin, because that was my question. Like, do we have any history of petitions that have been presented and moved ahead? But yeah, we do know of one that is moving,
Yeah.
sadly.
Yeah. Despite the lack of signatures.
And which one is that, Gavin?
That would be the one to change our national anthem to make it gender neutral.
Okay,
Just
so
just like our bathrooms.
and our prime minister.
I believe
Oh, I
he's
almost got
actually.
the spray beer out his nose.
I believe he's actually genderless.
He's like a Ken doll.
The part about this that really frustrates me is not the fact that they're changing the lyrics to "O Canada," which admittedly does bother me, but in my opinion, we should still be singing "God Save the Queen."
In
The part
theory,
about
yes.
this, the part about this petition that really bothers me, is the way that the media is reporting that it's a dying MP's bill.
Yeah. So let's do it for
This
that.
is
Let's get emotional. Not because it's good, just because he's dying.
That's right. It's not. None of the articles that I've read about this have to do with the merits or the practical implications of changing it. It's all because the MP that's presenting it in the House of Commons is suffering from what's he got? Parkinson's disease?
I don't care.
Oh, we moved on
like-
to the anthem thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we moved on to the
Yeah.
anthem thing. Way to keep
Too bad.
up.
Well, I have to go pee, man. You don't do pee breaks on this show. It's rough.
We don't do pee breaks, but I like that both you and Trevor stealthed out and stealthed back in. But Trevor is slightly better at the stealth aspect.
Well, he just left sooner because he has a weaker constitution. Had to
You
piss
just
sooner.
got to do what Jeff does and use the washing tub in the basement.
I'm not the
Fill
only
that beer bottle
one.
back up.
I just I just wanted to say Bob Zimmer is a fine, upstanding MP. He actually liked a status that I tagged him in where I called everybody in Parliament a bunch of butthurt cucks.
Oh.
He's a pretty good guy. I said something along the lines of like I want all the MPs in the House to like go at each other with morning stars and bats and fists because every day they spend in intensive care is a day they can't curtail freedom in this country, and he was all over that.
Wow.
That
Good
is
man.
amazing.
He's a good man. He's a good man.
Let's give a cheers to Bob Zimmer.
To Bob.
One of the few good men in the House.
All right. Any other thoughts on the... Actually, any thoughts on the actual changing of the lyrics, or, in my case, how I'm butthurt over the fact that we even sing "O Canada"?
I just will not recognize it. You know, like I had a. I'm not gonna.
You can't do that. You can't not stand up. Like I got.
No,
Rick.
no, that's not what I mean.
Okay,
I will stand up and sing the lyrics that I sang growing up.
there you go.
Yeah.
Rick.
I will sing the anthem as I recognize it, and I will sing it proudly. But I
Okay.
will not sing the new anthem.
All right, that's cool.
I really don't care that they're changing it. Like it couldn't bother me one way or the other. I think, but I mean, I'm gonna sing it the way that I learned it, because that's just the one that's in my head. Like I'm not gonna bother learning a new one.
The one I learned where it goes back and forth between English and French verses.
Yeah, that's the one I learned, right?
I learned the acapella nylons version.
I love the nylons. Here's
But,
my thing.
Like I just think it was a waste of time. Like there are far more important things we could have been talking about than the lyrics to the national anthem. Like, was anyone really offended or felt left out by it, or was this just like an issue that was created to distract us from everything
This was
else?
a non-issue. This is totally bread and circus.
Total non-issue, and this actually ties into the AR-15 petition in that
It's the
I
tail
guarantee
wagging
you
the
more
dog.
people are upset about the AR-15 classification than people who are upset about the anthem.
Yep, totally. The what was that movie? The tail wagging the dog or something like that.
Wag the dog, yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a tiny minority of people that have the ears of these politicians, and we're gonna have to deal with it for another 3.5 years.
here's my thing. I don't necessarily care that they want to change the anthem. They can change the anthem if they want, but for the right reasons. And these aren't the right reasons. Like Andrew's all about like, no, we should still be singing God Save the Queen. I'm not there with you, buddy, but I'm okay if they change it, but not for this. Not because it's some dying MP's wish. Who elects a dead man? Who the fuck did that?
That's actually smart because he's
So
not going to
much
collect a
editing.
pension.
Well, yeah, like what's your face, Senator Crazy Pants that wanted to.
Is that dead yet?
Yes.
Effectively, I believe so. Yeah.
No one has
So
picked it
Andrew,
up
you
yet.
mentioned God Save the Queen. Did you sing God Save the Queen as a kid?
Yes.
I sang God Save the Queen too. Did you go to private school?
No.
Oh, I sang God Save the Queen.
So,
Boys.
yeah,
I sang
we
the
can
Sex
have a whole
Pistols version.
discussion about that.
Yeah. I don't really care. I'm not a monarchist or anything, although I do think a monarchy is probably a more efficient form of government. But,
I agree.
yeah.
Anyway,
tell that
topic
to
for another show. Moving on. Trevor, this is sort of in your neck of the woods. Halifax considers fire pit ban.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't care.
I'm only saying that because you're the closest one to Halifax.
I am. I'm 6 hours from Halifax. It
6
was
hours closer than the rest of us.
so. Here's the thing. Halifax and many other municipalities across the country, after Fort Mac, had this knee-jerk reaction. It rained for 2 solid weeks out here, and then just like that, it's 33 degrees. So apparently, between Fort Mac lighting on fire and then the quote-unquote maritime heat wave, everybody's like, no, we cannot have open fires anymore because somebody might burn down the city.
So I mentioned earlier in the show I'm looking for a house. These are one of the things that I do as I'm looking for a house in the municipalities in the Kitchener-Waterloo area of southern Ontario is I read all of their bylaws, which is usually a very dry exercise. And one of the things I look for is whether or not I'm allowed to have a fire and chickens and what the garbage collection laws are like, and if somebody's going to call the bylaw enforcement because I don't cut my lawn. Because I measure the number of limiting bylaws in a municipality as to how much I want to give them tax revenue.
Do you
Good
have like
for you.
a freedom index that you go by and like?
It's not so much a rubric as a gut reaction. Okay, I can't have chickens. All right, most places don't let me have chickens. That's fine. Okay, I can have quail, though. That's a little bit more free. Okay, I can have a backyard fire. That's a little bit more free. Okay, I'm not going to get a ticket if I let my grass grow as long as it doesn't look like a jungle. Good, that's more free.
So
I'm more willing to contribute to their tax base when I buy a home.
Where are you looking?
Call it within 45 minutes of Kitchener-Waterloo. So that includes Oxford, Perth, Wellington, Waterloo, basically those 4 counties. Oh, and Brant, 5 counties.
Yeah, okay.
yeah, quick sidebar. If you do find somewhere that lets you raise chickens, when I was away at that meeting in Wisconsin last week, one of the products they have just designed is a electric chicken plucker. So I can
I
hook
live
you
in
up.
Ontario. I can't afford electric anything.
Or wine.
I can sell you
Or
a
beer.
generator, and you can run it on gas.
Or you
I
can do it the
support
old-fashioned way.
So, I don't know. This is another. Well, we talked about this on the show before when Quebec City eliminated wood-burning fireplaces because it was environmentally unfriendly.
Quebec City, I thought it was Montreal.
Oh, was it Montreal? I don't know. It was one of those Quebec-speaking
Quebec
places.
City is very conservative. This would
Yeah,
deeply disappoint
Montreal
me.
is almost free
You know what? You're right. Wait, Montreal is almost free.
compared to the rest of the province. Yeah.
But Quebec
Fair.
City is like awesome.
Quebec City is awesome.
Quebec City, aren't they all conservative MPs around there? We'll have to pull up a map. We'll get back to that.
All right.
Let's
Okay.
move it along.
Moving on to the next one. So much editing. This comes to us from the Conservative Broadcasting Corp. No, wait, that's not their name. Conservative Bashing Corporation? That's still not right.
The Cuck Broadcasting Corporation.
Cuck Broadcasting Corporation. I'm leaving
Very
that one in
accurate.
the edited version.
Very accurate.
It's coming to us from the Cuck Broadcasting Corporation and receiving almost no media coverage A suspect has been arrested in the Calgary stabbing incident that left 1 dead and 1 injured.
Well, that's because he didn't use a gun.
Right? Is anybody else thinking that? Like, if he used a gun, would this not be on the news all day, every day for like at least a week?
We need knife control.
Yeah, they should have to register their assault knives.
Yeah.
I know it's not in the show notes, Andrew, but did you guys hear about the guy who got off for shooting somebody for stealing something in Calgary, Alberta, somewhere?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was actually on my way back from the gun range on Sunday, and on 680 News, like repeatedly, they were talking about that. They were shooting in Mississauga that happened, and then another one in Scarborough. Those are the 3 news stories that were repeating over and over and over again.
We have so few
That's disappointing.
clean shoots in Canada.
Yeah.
Well, more people.
The coverage
just
they
need to learn
gave to
fucking
that,
shut
though,
up.
was nothing compared to the other shootings. He ever gives much information, but
Yeah, I like the fact that everybody jumped all over the dichotomy between something with guns and this one with a knife, and the knife not getting basically any coverage.
something with guns in another country.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, that's true. Something with another country that has no bearing here, where assault weapons are already banned.
And
When
no
we use the
AR
correct
has been used in a mass shooting in Canada ever.
Yeah, 90,000
I cannot
ARs,
find a stat
no
where
crime.
an AR has actually been used in the commission of a crime in Canada, with the exception of paperwork crimes related to firearms ownership.
Licenses. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. And who committed that crime? The government.
I have acquired the facts. 5 out of 6 ridings in Quebec City, Conservative MPs.
And the other one is the Bloc, I'm guessing.
The Bloc, they can carpool to work. They have no power.
That's amazing that Quebec City is conservative and not Bloc, because when you drive into Quebec City, they have a sign on the side of the highway that says Capitale Nationale, which translates into English, National Capital. All right.
Yeah, but they
you're
call
a
their
province.
provincial house the National or the National Assembly.
Yeah, they don't use that language by accent. They refer to themselves as a nation.
Well, it's very deliberate.
Not
It's
very deliberate.
And I don't care. I mean, hey, it's a survival strategy for the French-speaking people in this country.
No. It's not it's the survival strategy for the separatists.
If that's the language they want to use, and of course there are people pulling strings and whatnot. But if that's the language they want to use to survive as an ethnic group and not just become Anglophones and preserve some degree of cultural integrity, I don't care. Whatever. Be yourselves. Just don't be a dick about it.
Yeah, and the separatists are being dicks about it.
Of course they are.
And calling your...
If I want to put an English sign up in my business in Quebec,
You're not doing
I should
it.
be able to do that. But if you don't want to buy something from me, then just don't buy something from me, and I'll go out of business.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a firm believer in that there is a distinction between the terms nation and country, and that Canada is a country, and a nation is something that is much more strictly defined.
Mm.
It looks like our parachuter has arrived.
Oh, the 101st Airborne has arrived. Holy shit. Look out.
He's got to unmute his microphone,
Yeah,
though.
unmute your microphone, dick. Look at his face.
Look at him. Look at him and
I
laugh.
even can't hear you.
I saved you some editing.
You're still muted. What the fuck? Sorry, Andrew.
I gave you some editing.
No, this is easy for him because he's just going to edit out the 3-minute chunk. It's just one.
There we go.
It'll all go.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Hey, Matt, how's it going?
Hey.
All right. So after you edit all that shit out, death from above, bitches.
As he drinks the light beer.
Ah, what are you
Okay.
going to do?
He's American. That's all they have.
Oh.
It's got fancy, Mexican Tejano shit on the can, so it's kind of cool.
Mm. And water inside. How you doing,
All right,
Matthew?
Matt.
Pretty good. How y'all doing?
Good, man.
Good.
Not bad. Just throw that in there. I mentioned it earlier, but Matt will be at the Brockville shoot this weekend with the rest of us.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Oh,
Right
this
on.
Matthew. This is Liberty or Death Matthew.
This is the Matt, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice
Yes,
to
the
meet
Matt
you.
of internet fame. You may have heard of him. He's on the internet.
I do.
I'm going to pick him up on Wednesday at the airport.
I do listen to Matt talk some stuff on the Liberty or Death podcast.
I'm putting holes in blue helmets.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
To be fair, that helmet. All right. So for those of you following along in the show notes, we're on the story about damage claims from the RCMP High River gun grab totaling $2.3 million with an M dollars.
That's a lot of doors kicked in.
That is a lot of doors.
Were those like teak doors or something like that? Like,
Now, what's the average cost of a door, Tyler? You're in construction. What's the door? Like $1,000, maybe? Like a really nice door.
No. A really nice door, yes, but no, not your typical door. Like $200.
That's that expensive ski lodge bullshit, you know.
Yeah, which is mostly with what I deal with. But yeah, no, your standard doors are not all that expensive. But I guarantee you, built into this claim, it's not just the door, right? Like to replace the door is nothing. So okay, they crushed the door with the battering ram, but the jam, yeah, the lock, the hardware, all that would be screwed. And then the homes would have been left open to the elements. I remember that being a claim. So the whole like foyers, that whole area, all the floor would have to be ripped up and replaced. I remember claims about the muddy boot prints all up the carpeted stairs. The carpet would have to be ripped up and replaced. Like it goes mud on the door. So yeah, I could definitely see that number seems low to me.
Really?
Frankly.
I'm just gonna ask who's inflating this number? Like 2.3 million?
Well, we're talking Alberta.
Was left open.
You think Ontario has a high cost of living?
So they're claiming an average payout. The claim in the Sun News article is an average payout of about $1,600, with some houses claiming 10 and a handful claiming 20,000.
those guys must have kicked in every door in that house then. Just
there's
for
also
shits and
one
giggles,
claim.
like.
Well, there's one house in High River, one homeowner in High River that claimed $63,001 in damage.
Well, let's be honest. Those RCMP guys probably went in there and like pissed and crapped all over their carpets, and they were probably like, "Man, these people have a nice house. Let's destroy it." You know.
They probably smeared feces on the walls. You know, like when you're like gonna evict like a deadbeat, and they put feces on the walls and put like dead squid in the medicine cabinets. That type of
I
thing.
hate cleaning up dead squid.
Well, and they probably ransacked the houses looking for guns, you know, that they could confiscate.
Oh, yeah.
That's what
I'm sure that they did a lot of damage to a lot of these homes.
Those jack boots put pretty big holes in the wall.
I'm surprised that it's only $2.3 million in damages, though. I expected it to be higher.
Yeah.
Are you eating Twizzlers?
I am.
That's awesome.
I
Carry on.
need a podcast.
A bag of dicks.
I ran out of my bag of dicks. I need to get
Don't
somebody else
make
to
that joke, man. Last year at the charity shoot, just as people were arriving, a fucking bag of dicks showed up at my house, and not one of those motherfuckers would cop to it either. Cocksuckers. Somebody sent me a fucking bag of dicks that arrived just at the fucking charity shoot. They couldn't time that shit perfectly.
That's awesome.
No,
That's
it's
gotta
not
be like
awesome.
an
Fuck
annual
those
thing.
guys. And then so my buddy's wife comes over and she's like, "Oh fuck, gummy dicks!" And she starts eating this shit like it's fucking gummy bears. Everybody's looking at this hot chick eating my fucking bag of gummy dicks. I'm like, "Fuck."
You just got to do what Andrew did and just sack up and just eat him on air.
Yeah,
Like,
just eat them on air. That's what I did when I got a bag of dicks.
No, man, I'm still waiting to find the cunt that took them.
I'm going to have to edit so much.
Sorry, man.
You just put the E on the podcast. Like,
I had forgotten about the bag of dicks. And they did some fucking nasty shit too during the charity shoot. They snuck a Mosin into my safe. I choked a guy over that, and it wasn't even the right guy. And then a bag of dicks comes in. Fuck.
doesn't everybody in Canada already have a Mosin, though?
Not this motherfucker.
I don't
No,
know.
I don't have a Mosin. F that. I only want good surplus rifles.
I had an SVT-40 briefly, but actually, you know what? I did have a Mosin, and it sucked. So I got rid of it.
No. The only surplus
Yeah,
Much
I'm...
for mine, and it's awesome.
I've had a couple
Okay, so
of
Andrew, if you go explicit, all right, you have 233 likes. I have 229. You're going to lose 4 people, and those 4 people probably suck anyway. So
Those are the 4
They-
cucks that are watching.
Yeah.
Chances
I'm gonna have-
are they might do other podcasts.
I'm going to have to edit so much on this show. Moving right along, we were talking earlier in the show about how laws should apply equally to everybody and groups shouldn't get special treatment. So I'm going to go ahead and call out an NDPMPP. NDPMPP.
Is that an echo?
It's got a
No.
PP?
An NDPMPP, Jagmeet Singh, who's introducing a motorcycle helmet law exemption for Sikhs.
For fuck's sake.
And this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. I'm okay with not having motorcycle helmet laws. If you want to ride a motorcycle, I like riding motorcycles. Motorcycles are a good time. If you want to ride a motorcycle without a helmet, that's your prerogative. But if you fuck your shit up, I shouldn't have to pay for your socialized medicine.
Damn straight. That's my. I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. You don't want to wear a seatbelt? Don't wear a seatbelt. You want to smoke? You want to drink? You don't want to wear out? Do whatever the fuck you want. You fuck your shit up, you're on your own.
And this is a topic. Like, I mean, I remember driving through Pennsylvania, and I see dudes, driving down the highway, just, their hair flowing in the wind. They're just loving it. They're just driving
Tyler's
in
just
town, USA.
enthralled with them and their luscious locks.
Yeah, I'm just
Tyler's
like,
just like, look at that
hey,
guy,
brother,
yeah.
like, what's up? I got guns in the trunk. Let's pull over and grab a beer. Like, we just.
And then I'll ride bitch.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't ride bitch, right? We talked about this on our show a little while ago. It came up in some context, and then it's that when you have a social healthcare system, the government now has an incentive to regulate your lifestyle choices and your
Damn
personal
straight.
decisions.
Damn straight.
And it's a slippery slope. Like, the liberals and leftists are lubing that slope up good every day with the anal lube, and it's a goddamn. You should be.
Trans-able.
Are you guys friends with Greg McDonald? You guys know him?
No, but I'm going to have to edit all of this, so whatever.
Okay.
Unless he's watching the live feed.
Greg McDonald, he went out and he said if motorcycles were invented today, he was pretty sure the government would never allow them on the road, and that is true. That is absolutely
hell yeah.
true. That is absolutely true. So we have a government in Canada.
We got rid of three-wheelers. Right? There are no more three-wheelers.
Really?
Maybe not in New Brunswick, but not in this part of Canada.
They don't make them anymore. Honda doesn't make them. Nobody makes them anymore. Because they legislated them out of existence. You can still buy second-hand ones. You can still find them. You can still own them. But no one is making a three-wheeler anymore. They're all quads and side-by-sides.
I'm all for. Hey, don't wear a helmet. I don't care. But you won't be able to. You'll have to pay your own medical bills if you get in an accident. I feel like that's a pretty fair trade-off. Your religion doesn't obligate you to pay for your health care, quite frankly.
Damn straight.
That's the end of it.
Well, and so I want to know how if I decide to ride a motorcycle without a helmet, how can the government prove that I am not actually a Sikh?
You'd have to put a turban on.
Put it on.
Put it on. No.
Too.
I'm trans-religious. I choose to sometimes be a Sikh and other times I choose not to be.
I identify whatever I can, whenever I can, to fuck the system.
Right? No, but that's my point. Like, how is it the government going to be able to prove, like, if I'm a Sikh or not? Like, because it's...
They can't.
Right? Like, I can't ask somebody when I interview them what their religion is. Can the government ask me as a citizen before I get medical coverage
They
what
can.
my religion is?
But you are dreaming if you think as a cisgendered white male you can game the system. The system
I know. I understand that
it
as a
is skewed
cisgendered
against
white
you.
male. And can you point out the fact that I hate the word cisgendered? Like, why cis? Why CIS? What the fuck
I
does
don't
that
even
mean? It's
know
not
what
a
it means.
derivative
That's
of
the term.
anything.
Sorry.
I understand it's the term, but it's not like it's a derivative of anything. It's not a Latin root word. It's a made-up bullshit term.
I'll look it up.
Hey, if you acknowledge cuck, you gotta acknowledge cisgender.
What?
That's it. If cuck is a word, cisgender is a word.
Yeah.
Cuck is an abbreviation, and it's a word.
But it's still made up as a concept.
Thank you, Gavin.
No, there's an action involved of actually being a cuckold for the big black cock in your wife.
Doesn't actually have to be black, but we digress. Editing all of this.
And I know I've told Tyler this, but there is actually like an Italian hand gesture that you do to people to call them a cuck.
That's fucking amazing.
You flash them like the Texas bullhorns, but you just like them like this.
But you pointed at them.
Yeah. And that's the
Oh God.
Okay.
That's
So,
the
Andrew-
bull fucking their wife.
Gavin
Andrew, you're flat out wrong in that cisgender does have its origin in Latin. The prefix cis means on the side of.
Holy shit, school me in Latin.
So,
But
But
suck a
more
big dick,
importantly,
brother.
this is going to be flashed around the charity shoot all day on Saturday. I'm going
Whatever you have to do,
to see
son.
Matthew walking towards me for the first time. I've never met the man. I haven't shook his hand yet. Hey, Matthew, what's up, man?
Oh yeah.
well, when you're shooting strong hand only, just start like a competition with it.
Yeah, you got to do something
It'd
that
be a
we
great
can.
time.
I'll be like,
Okay, back to the motorcycle thing. Do we have any other comments with the motorcycle thing?
No, I mean, yeah, I think you're right, man. If you don't want to wear a helmet, don't wear a helmet. Like I do, and I've laid a bike down, and I'm glad I had a helmet on. But if you don't want to, that's your own business, man.
Matt should use his comment time to introduce himself, because Andrew's going to edit everything else out.
All right, maybe I'll do that. I'm Matt from the International Liberty Death Podcast. Parachuted in from North Texas into Ontario to slay cunts and cucks, and make all tyrants my fucking bitch.
pretty sandy.
I'm glad we spent a minute on that because I'm just editing it out. So
So you keep
The
the
live
part
show
where he
lives
says
forever. The live show is all I ever listen to.
hi. Keep the part where he says, "Hi, I'm Matt."
That's about it.
all right, we alluded to this. Oh no, we're skipping this one. We already talked about the thing from the spec. Fuck it, cutting that too. All right, firearms registration in the Quebec perspective.
Oh, we got to talk about the natives.
Well,
Is that
okay,
it?
so this is a twofer.
All right.
Do you guys have twofers where you are?
Twofers?
Yeah, twofers, as in 2 for 1.
Is that when two people fuck your wife at the same time?
I was going to say, one's got a twofer yesterday. I don't understand. What are we talking
Okay.
about?
So the first article that we're the next article, firearms registration and the Quebec perspective, and the following article comes to us from the Cuck Broadcasting Corporation. Aboriginal leaders say Quebec must explain how the gun registry will affect them.
Do you guys actually know about the exemptions in the Firearms Act for Aboriginal peoples?
Yeah, it's the same way they get to have, it's not the AK, but it's an AK derivative, and I can't have one.
No. Everybody can have that. But the reason why everybody can have it is because of what was given to them.
So basically, anything that was on the reserve before 95 is fine, and you don't need a license for it. And you can own it, you can possess it. Any new firearms coming onto the reserve require a license, so just like everybody else in Canada. But obviously what's happening is one asshole on the reserve gets a license and is buying new firearms and then passing them around the reserve.
Naturally.
Right. The only way you're going to convict somebody is if, okay, Chief Gavin has a gun, and we find him committing a crime with the gun. Oh, we run the serial number. We find that the gun was manufactured after 95. So now he's in unlawful possession of a firearm. But generally, anything on the reserve, it's free reign. Whatever was there before 95, they're grandfathered in. They don't need a license for it. They don't need to register it. They're allowed to have any guns they had before the legislation came into effect.
In addition to that, the chiefs have the authority to administer the firearm safety test. And it's just a recommendation, like, oh yeah, no, he's good. He's eligible.
Right. So then they send these new people licenses. They don't even have to leave the reserve to take the test to get the license.
And then they can hunt the land clean.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what? Are they all big like alcoholics up there too?
Not necessarily. It
Do
depends.
they have
on
casinos and shit too? I'm just curious, like, because, and I'm not saying that to be biased or anything. I'm just trying to get a picture of it because
Here's the
it
thing.
seems like in both countries there's this like exceptionalism that the governments are trying to do to make up for the fact that they like basically committed genocide against the whole people.
Huge. Yeah, absolutely
that.
huge. Like any native land in Canada is considered federal. So any provincial legislation from province to province, just like in the U.S., how gun laws are different from state to state, provincial laws are different from province to province for certain things. But none of it will apply to a native reserve because they're all considered federal land. So provincial laws don't exist. So for example, let's say the province of New Brunswick passes a law that says you cannot smoke in any building of any kind, anytime, anywhere. Well, on a native reserve, it doesn't apply because there is no federal law to that fact. So you could smoke in a casino on a native reserve because it's considered federal land, federal territory.
Interesting.
So they want to know in Quebec how this is going to affect them? Yeah, because they're natives in Quebec, but they're under federal jurisdiction. So it actually shouldn't affect them at all.
Yeah,
but
they will probably be able to get out of it. Yeah.
Absolutely. They just want to hear it from the, and one of the reasons why Quebec hasn't separated is the native vote.
Yeah. And there's a lot of precedent as well in that the government will not touch the natives because they have demonstrated a militant resistance to...
They will shoot you.
Oh, you're not talking about things like the FLQ.
Right? No, the FLQ has nothing to do with the natives.
No. But look at Oka in 1991.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the one I'm thinking of. Oka.
Yeah, in 1991, the Quebec government tried to turn a native reserve or property land on a native reserve into a golf course, and they said no, and the Quebec government said yes, so they shot a cop and had a standoff that lasted I don't know how many days, and in every country or every province across Canada, natives protested and blocked any road that passed through their reserve, crippling parts of the transportation system in Canada. Yeah. So they will protest, they will shoot you, they will burn shit, they will block highways, and much like the Islamists, they back up what they want with acts of terror. So when they go to negotiate with you, if you don't agree, you know what's coming down the pipe. Yeah. Somebody's getting shot, things are getting burned, roads are getting blocked.
The government deals with them knowing that they are not bluffing. And to that extent, I do have to admire them as a people.
Ditto. They do what the rest of us don't have the balls to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. As much as I disagree with a number of things that they do, I admire their strength and that they make your jokes. I admire the fact that they have this survival strategy as a group of people to get what they want out of the government. Like it works for them. It works for them, and to have the collective balls. And normally the collective balls comes from a position of having nothing to lose, and that's not exactly an enviable position. But the fact of the matter remains is that they present the government with a threat of violence, and the government deals with them. What do? We ask for shit. What do we do with the AR-15 petition? We ask for shit. We get nothing. Yep. We get nothing because they're not afraid of us. They're afraid of the natives. They're not afraid of us.
You do to them, or you do to us what was done to them, and we would act like they do.
Absolutely.
Okay, which one of you is in a wind tunnel?
Probably Matt.
He's the new guy. Be the asshole.
He's the new guy.
He still managed to get on the show, unlike Brian.
Now, to answer Matt's question, in Ontario, native reserves tend to be cesspools of criminality because they're safe havens, because the OPP can't go there.
No, but the RCMP can, and Ontario...
We don't have the RCMP here.
And that was my point. Ontario has blocked out the RCMP. The only RCMP presence I've ever seen in Ontario is on the Hill. Everywhere else in Canada, the RCMP is becoming the predominant law enforcement.
Yeah, it's OPP or local PD. Like we have 7 or 8 single-tier municipalities that have their own police departments. I think Waterloo Region has its own police department. London, Hamilton, Toronto, Halton, Oshawa. Like there's a handful of them, but otherwise the OPP picks up the slack.
But isn't that ironic?
There is no RCMP presence whatsoever.
And that's because you have such a strong provincial police force in the OPP. In Quebec, they have the similar...
SQ.
Thank you, the SQ.
Yes.
Self-Pay to Quebec, yeah. But isn't it ironic that the nation's capital is in Ontario, and the only place in the whole province of Ontario we see any federal police presence is in the nation's capital? Everywhere else across Canada, RCMP are running out the municipal police forces.
Well, it's because it's just market economics, right? If they're able to provide policing services at a better rate, then the municipality is going to contract it out. I don't necessarily have a problem with it.
I do, because they offer the sweet deal, and then once they get in, they scale it back, and they scale it back, and they scale it back. There is no police presence between the town of Campbellton and Bathurst. It will take you almost an hour and a half to drive between Campbellton and Bathurst. And there's no municipal police. There's no RCMP. There was RCMP in Jacket River. There was RCMP in Dalhousie. It used to be municipal. They got rid of the municipal, switched to RCMP. They scaled it back. They scaled it back to the point where they actually closed it and said there's so little need for police in the town of Dalhousie that we'll cover it from Campbellton. Jacket River, same thing. We'll cover it from Bathurst. Or so police come up from the town of Bathurst halfway, and then they go down from Campbellton halfway. They didn't hire any more police in Bathurst. They didn't hire any more police in Campbellton. But now they're policing this area, south of Bathurst, north of Bathurst, south of Campbellton, north of Bathurst, with two RCMP detachments. Like, it's ridiculous.
Well, these types of problems, my scorn would be directed against the cucks that run the municipality and the people who inhabit them that don't demand the results, right? So if the RCMP they win the bid and then they pull back and say, okay, we don't need to do any of this. Well, then it's not perfect. I know that. I'll be the first person to criticize the mechanism, but through the mechanisms that exist, you should be able to say, hey, you're not doing what we asked you to do. We're not doing what you paid you to do. You're not providing the policing services that we want. So you're done. Get out.
I've seen this in Moncton and Dieppe, ironically, where the shooting happened in Moncton, where the municipalities have gone after the RCMP and said, you're not holding up your end of the bargain. What are we paying you for? Where are the members, right? What has happened in the other communities is after the RCMP have pulled out, the municipality is so goddamn broke they can't afford to all of a sudden establish a new detachment, purchase a bunch of cars, purchase a bunch of guns, hire a chief. How are you going to get a chief somewhere to come to the butthole of the world, right? Like, it's
not Toronto.
It's not Toronto. Toronto is the asshole of Ontario, and Hamilton is the armpit. That's
central Canada. In Atlantic Canada, we have our whole
You got your own expressions out there.
Yeah. Well, no, and I'm just saying you in central Canada, Toronto is the butthole of it, but in the butthole of the world, it's not Toronto. Trust me.
It's Buffalo, New York, actually.
It is. That is a shithole. Holy shit.
I have to drive and fly through that fucking hellhole.
You have to be... Hold on. You have to be driven through that hellhole. Your ass is getting picked up.
Yeah, I'll be pretty drunk, too.
You guys should stop off at the Anchor Bar for wings.
We'll just go to the Anchor Bar.
Like last time when we fucking had like 4 beers.
You have to edit that out.
Yeah, I have to edit all of this out. Side note, I don't edit the YouTube video, so this is on internet forever.
The YouTube video is just there for good.
Sweet.
So speaking
do you guys want to talk about the quiz thing, or should we just move on? Speaking of what?
I was going to segue into that. What does it take to?
Sorry, don't let me fuck that up.
But you already fucked it up. It's too late. Sorry.
I can edit it out through the magic of editing.
Let's just do it.
Why don't you eat
okay.
Do this fucking quiz thing.
Hey guys, what does it take to acquire an assault rifle in Canada besides a grandfathered license?
Money and a truck in a back street in Montreal.
Matt, I gotta mute you. You gotta unmute when you talk. You echo like shit.
Why do I echo?
I already muted him.
Oh, you're a dick. It's hilarious.
Dude, I've got a legit headset on. I don't understand why you think I'm echoing.
Because you're the only one that, when you speak, echoes.
That's horrible.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's not just me, right? Everybody can hear it?
Yeah, now it's gone. That's fully gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to be dicks, but there's an issue.
Can Matt unmute himself?
Yeah, he can unmute himself. Just
Okay.
unmute yourself when you speak.
Can I
and then
mute you?
Not if you want to stay on the panel.
I understand. Gavin, how's the moonshine treating you?
Pretty good.
Excellent.
Okay, Tyler, do you want to try that segue again? Because I'm going to call that.
Hold on. Holy. I'm coming off a cold here, so I'm going to mute myself while I just like coughed up a lung.
Oh my god.
All right.
It's just almost drank
So we're
from
doing
a
the
ball.
TBC thing, the quiz.
Do the quiz.
All right.
Do you
we're
guys
open
listen to
her
the
up here.
quiz?
Listen to what?
Oh, you have to listen to it? Oh, fuck, no. No, not a chance.
It's 5 minutes, and it's atrocious. It's
Oh my god.
I'd
There's
rather
so
fucking
much
masturbate
canned
with
laugh
barbed wire.
track.
All right, if we're gonna do a if we'll do like a piss break, I'll put it on now. But
No, we're not doing a piss break. I figured you guys would read and listen to the show notes.
no,
But
I work and then I got other shit going on in my life, man. I don't have time to do this.
I understand.
See that, Tyler?
I say we just cut this one all out because I don't
I'm not
care.
complaining. I'm not complaining.
That's funny, because that sounded like fucking complaining.
I'm dismissing
I've heard
Andrew's
complaining,
bullshit
and
criticism.
that sounded a lot like complaining.
Expecting me to devote hours of my life to his podcast.
Hey,
Once a week.
I got a quiz for you. Don't mute me when I'm talking.
Don't mute me, bitch.
Shit.
It was worth a try. I was going to just do the feedback, but all right, carry on.
I was just gonna say, a pop quiz. How do you buy an AR in Texas?
Yeah, turn over $600 at the gun store.
Bingo.
You walk into a gun shop, 2 pieces of ID, you pass an instant national criminal background check, and then you walk out with a gun. After paying for it.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Is that it? How do you buy a gun off some asshole in New Hampshire?
You meet him with some cash or a check, you know.
But does he have to ship it like next day air priority to a federal firearms dealer?
Oh, you mean from Texas? Yeah, he's got to send it to an FFL.
Yeah.
And they run the NICS check there when you go to pick up the transfer.
And then you.
But if you're buying an AR from another Texan,
it's
it's literally just pay up.
Yeah, it's all good.
So kind of like Tyler and I did in the parking lot of Canadian Tire.
I was going to say, Gavin, you want to buy
No,
my
there wasn't
XTR?
even any background check. I was like, I'm sure you're good. Here, have a gun. I'll take your cash and then
Yeah.
at the end of it.
Yeah. Gavin, would you like to buy my XTR?
Possibly.
All right, send me some money. I'll put it in the mail.
All right.
Done.
Nice.
The slowest ground shipping, uninsured.
Fucking yeah. They used to insure shit, but those bastards put it way too high.
Yeah.
It's insane now. I thought about I sold the SR556 upper. I still have the lower, but I sold the upper. I made a killing on it. I sold it for like $950.
Oh boy.
And I bought it. I bought the complete gun at $1175. And so I sold it, and then the guy, as it turned out, like the shipping I'd kind of worked into the price was more than what it worked out to be. The guy was like kind of somewhat local, so the shipping was like $10 cheaper. So I was like, all right, I'll throw a little bit of insurance on there. So it's like insure it for $800, and then the price went up. It was like $60 shipping. I was like, fuck that. He doesn't need it. No way, not a chance.
I haven't done insurance with Canada Post in like 3 years.
Yeah.
Stupid.
And I've done 300+ deals on gun nuts. I know almost all of which have been shipped with Canada Post.
Fuck
Never
that
had a
reminds
problem.
me.
Never had a problem.
I wonder if that Quebec cuck left me some feedback yet on my HK deal.
This guy with the SR556 hasn't left me feedback. Total cuck. His
I wonder-
kids
they
probably
probably
look nothing
listen
like
to
him.
they probably listen to another podcast.
Yeah.
Listen to this one. I get a message on CGN. I don't go to CGN. Hello listeners. CGN is not the official fucking way to communicate with this match director for SummerSlam. Cucks. Hi Trevor, can you please squad me with blank with my travel partner blank? No, I can't. You're a dick. The match was sold out in October, you fucking idiot, and your squatting is done. fucking squad with who I put you with, or stay the fuck home. I got 17 people want your spot. Fuck off. Andrew, you need to cut that shit.
Dude's kids look nothing like him. That's for sure.
Fuck. I'm not even replying to that.
All right.
I
got nothing.
Just gonna reply, no.
Oh man, Tyler's going for a pee break?
That or he's doubled over laughing too hard.
He's probably never mind.
We'll wait till he gets back to do the feedback.
I know
'cause
where
I'm
yours
honestly
was
like
going.
the last 10 minutes, it's all cut.
But it's for the best.
Although I don't edit the YouTube video, so anything you say on YouTube stays on the internet forever.
That's fine.
Well, unless the liberal government all of a sudden takes over our podcast and then decides to delete it.
It's fine. It's not like if PM Harper was on. Although if PM Harper is listening, I'd love to have you as a guest.
Even though you are the devil.
Yes, even though I repeatedly say in the most sarcastic way possible that Stephen Harper is the devil.
Alright, with that feedback that was going in, that just sounded even more epic than normal.
Yeah, I know. I might put that in the beginning of the... Oh, God, is it pee time again for Trevor? Get bigger bladders! Fuck!
I don't understand why everybody has to piss so much.
I haven't gone
to
yet.
To be fair, I'm like 5 beers in, so...
What?
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 What? We were taking a pee break. As soon as the pee break is over, we're going to do rapid-fire feedback. Our 4 viewers are slowly tapering down to 0 because they're getting tired of our shit.
Probably. It goes long. The show runs long, man. Needs a better MC.
Well, I tried to cut stuff out. I'm like, no, we're not talking about that. People are like, no, we're fucking talking about that. I'm like, well,
But you know
whose show
what?
is this?
Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you something that like happens with our show, and that the stuff we plan on talking about is often what gets cut. And the stuff that we talk about where it's like totally organic and we're just fired up about it and it's like a total sideshow tangent, like that's the stuff that we actually put in the final product because the energy is there, you know, like and then that resonates with the listener. Like that's the feedback that I've...
And having the energy is key. It is. I get that.
Exactly. We want to be all Trumps, no Jeb Bushes. You know,
well, if
energy.
the energy's not there, it sounds like you're reading statistics. Nobody
Yeah,
wants to
Andrew,
listen.
eat some more fucking Twizzlers.
I swear to God, I will kick you.
Oh god, Thursday is going to be so good.
Oh, it's going to be great, Trevor. I'm so disappointed because when Andrew said that you were going to be in on this, I thought he was referring to like the crossover episode we were going to do live from Brockville.
Oh, seriously?
And you're not going to be there Thursday night.
Although
You
I
should
could
drive
really
from
upset.
Ottawa to Brockville and then back to Ottawa.
Because
a good idea.
especially too, because as soon as I like actually like messaged you on Facebook the other day there, and you're like, oh yeah, this guy from CBC was a total cuck, full on cuck. I was like, oh, we'll be the best of friends. And then like now since we've been talking, it's like a different side of you than what I knew from Canadian Reload Radio.
Mm. I figured that comment was going to come because there's that guy who podcasts politically correctly, and then there's me. This is me Saturday. This is me every fucking day. Swear like a motherfucker. It gets me, you know. Yeah. So I podcast one way, and I live another way.
Yeah, right on, man.
I mean, we all do that to a certain extent, except possibly Tyler and Matt, who are the same assholes every day of the week.
Every day.
Actually, we're much worse in real life.
Excellent.
Yeah, the only stuff we edit out of our podcast is because like we would literally get arrested.
It's true. I've been on 2 of them now, and I'm
How
pretty
good?
sure
How
Still
good was
waiting
the
for
last
my
edit? Okay, how seamless was that?
it was pretty good.
It was pretty fucking good. I need my pats on the back for my editing feats. You wouldn't believe the shit that I edited out of that show.
I'm gonna bring some cookies for you when I fly up on Wednesday.
I don't want cookies. Buy me a Five Guys burger.
Oh,
That'll work.
If you want some pot cookies, I can get those for you.
Nah, that's not my scene, man.
Feed them to the competition so you can do better at the match.
You should bring pot cookies and put them on the table for everybody.
No, we should not do that. This is asshole Andrew doing
It's a
everyday
stupid
asshole.
idea when guns are involved, but otherwise it
Yeah.
would be hilarious. Yeah.
It would be hilarious if somebody
No.
wouldn't get hurt with the guns.
No,
All
no,
right,
no.
so-
We should
so-
bring the pot cookies for like the pub night, the wing night, and be like, oh,
The after
here's some
party?
homemade cookies. Yeah, after the gun.
Or the pot cookies. Brian Bolivar and I get in the pot cookies, and then we have our airsoft duel.
Yes.
That would be
That'd be
beautiful.
So it's
That would be
basically just
beautiful.
both of you laying on the ground giggling, shooting
I'd be
your
like,
airsoft guns.
Come on, Brian. We gotta shoot each other now.
But
Come
we've gotta-
on.
We've got to shape them like the show's logos.
Andrew would probably just like slump into a corner and mutter about me putting a Magpul handcard on an SA-20. He's like really upset about that.
You didn't fucking
I am
do that.
really upset
No,
about
hold
that.
on.
Why would you
Whoa,
do
whoa,
that?
Whoa, whoa,
I
You
did do
fucking
that.
did that?
I got rid of that
Why would you
garbage.
fuck with an SA-20?
I got rid of that garbage OEM handguard and sold it for like $80.
Was it green?
Damn it.
Was it green?
Oh no, it was black. It was black.
Okay.
If Colt Canada wanted you to have Magpul furniture, they would have issued you Magpul furniture.
What he said. Look, I will pull the fuck out of my bicycle. All right, but the SA-20 comes out good to go, ready to go. Leave it alone.
Here's what I did. I took the rear sight off the SA-20, that folding sight that's marked Colt Canada with the little maple leaf. I put that on the IUR,
Yeah.
and then I put an
fine.
LMT front sight on the IUR, so it's a nice little set.
Sure.
And then on the Colt, I put an LMT fixed rear sight, so it's just a fixed iron sight rifle.
Fixed.
The SA-20,
Fixed.
total fixed.
Fixed.
No other.
Are we in Nam? What are you
I
doing?
love it. I love shooting that gun. I love it.
Why?
It's great. And I have
Sadism.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It is awesome. I love it. This is
Yeah.
how I enjoy shooting and fuck everybody. It's a wonderful rifle. I put a thinner front sight on it,
Andrew.
and I'm just running the
Andrew,
rear sight
you-
with the
Andrew-
front sight and that sight radius.
Andrew,
and
quiet.
the
Did you
rifle
choke on
gas
a
system.
Andrew.
Whistler?
It's
You didn't,
great.
Andrew. You didn't tell me I was podcasting with someone who's autistic.
No. My
Hmm.
level of autism has reached the level
It's
of
more
being
of a
autistic.
spectrum, really.
I prefer to be referred to as an autiste.
Oh no. Sorry, Andrew. He's got Asperger's. That's what it is.
Very spurgy over here. So
Yeah,
I'm running
you're
the SA-20, just straight irons. It's awesome. I love shooting the gun. The sight radius is
Oh,
great. It's fucking great. I love that rifle. Matt's
Sure.
losing
I
it.
mean,
Anyway,
all right.
so the IUR's got the LMT fixed front sight.
So your
and-
IUR is not fucked, but you fucked up a perfect good SA-20.
But the SA-20 is not.
God damn it! Now Gavin's got to piss. We're
The
never
SA-20
gonna
is so good.
The dog's barking at me.
I'm tempted now to throw the SA-20 in the car just so you could see it and just see how fucking great it is.
I will still rub my nuts on it, but I won't love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Magpul, rifle length handguard.
Oh no, I won't actually molest it. No, I can't believe you did that.
Fixed front sight, LMT rear sight. It's great. The Rock River Arms 2-stage, Hogue grip, Magpul CTR. Awesome rifle. And I took the
Stressing me out.
no, not you, but Brian. Brian was shit a brick. I took the OEM A2 flash hider off of it and put a Delask A6 brake on it. It's like heavy gilled, just throws like pounds of force to the left and right. It's great.
You buy an SA-20 because it's an SA-20. You don't buy an SA-20 so you can ass fuck it and screw it up.
You buy an SA-20 because it's an SA-20. I buy an SA-20 so I can whip my cock out and fuck it in the ass. And I loved
It
every
has
minute
no
of it.
ass. An SA-20 has no ass. It can't be ass fucked.
I
I'm
found
pretty sure we
something.
thought we agreed that we were going to start calling our cocks CF-18 so we can just whip them out at everything.
because it's the current year.
Oh fuck.
Anyway,
All
that
right.
rifle is fun as shit to shoot. I love it. And what I use it for, the exclusive use, really, I don't use it for competition. I just take it to the range every once in a while, and I do all my regular drills with it just to retain proficiency with iron sight. That's it. All I do with it.
I can't argue against that.
It's a wonderful gun. I love it.
Because of the advances in red dots, be it EOTech or the superior aim point,
Yeah.
we're losing iron sight skills.
Yeah. Iron sight shooting is awesome.
Well, it's not awesome, but it's required.
Oh, sure, yeah, but and like what I do with my IUR is every once in a while I'll just shut the EOTech off and flip the rear sight and just practice with the backup irons. And a lot of people don't do that.
Well,
But,
what smart people do is they keep their irons up all the time,
ooh.
and they still run the red dot.
So you're saying I am not a smart person?
I'm saying
He's strongly
smart.
implying that, yes.
Yeah, but
There is
not
an
all-
implication.
Yeah, not all optics will co-witness though.
So you get one that
Better
does.
Yeah, you get one that does,
Yeah.
or like what I do, like see my IUR is configured, and so that I'm usually running the EOTech, and I love the EOTech. The aim point is obviously it's a little bit lighter, a little bit like slimmer profile, and it's like just a single point. But the EOTech reticle I think is superior for like faster sight acquisition. I like it. I prefer it.
Couldn't agree more.
But if I take the EOTech off and I throw on the Viper with the one-piece quick QD mount, that will only go on the gun if the rear sight is collapsed.
That sucks. Yeah, that's too
So
bad.
that's the way I run it.
The EOTech is superior to the Viper, but here's the thing: what do you want to do if for some? I mean, red dot optics now, like EOTechs and aim points, are awesome and very reliable, and the aim point has an incredible battery life.
What is it, like 7,000 hours or something?
Exactly that.
crazy,
Exactly
yeah.
that. So let's say it's your go-to battle rifle. Shit hits the fan, whatever, and you break this bastard out because you need to, and the optic dies. Do you want to take that second to flip up your irons, or do you just want to keep fucking shooting?
Interesting point.
The RCMP run their patrol carbines with the irons
No
up.
one cares how the horse police do it.
Well, you know what? The
Okay.
horse police were taught by people who know, actually, and they didn't teach themselves how to run the rifle. They hired professionals to teach them how to run their rifles. And a lot
I
of the
hope that's the case. Like
that is the case. I
yeah,
had an officer who was an instructor on the range while Daniel Shaw was on the range with us, and afterwards he's like, "We do that drill, we do that drill, we do that drill. Only we do it for 3 hours when you guys did it for 30 minutes because you're here for a day. We're on the range for 7 days to certify somebody on the carbine."
that gives me some, solace in that if these people are proclaiming a monopoly on security, that at least they're, taking the training seriously. So I like to hear that.
The dude that got me into action shooting, who got me into IPSC, who since then became a pistol instructor and then a carbine instructor, he was in the Miramichi training officers from across Canada when the Moncton shooting happened, and they jumped in the black SUVs with every rifle and everyone who was certified on site and booked her for Moncton. And this guy he's the shit, and he's trained by. They didn't make up their own curriculum, is what I'm trying to say. They brought in the experts on the rifle and developed their own curriculum based on the most common practices that you and I would love to learn from the top guys in the industry.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody's back. Everybody stop talking. We're going to do rapid fire feedback so we can close the show because I actually have to go back to work soon.
Andrew hates this show.
I
He wants it to end as quickly as possible.
Cuts out all the good stuff. The natural.
I'm gonna,
You should release.
Back to
Like, you should have like the edited,
Sound
the
as in-
broadcast
God
version.
damn it! What did I just say?
Shut up.
You should
That's
have
what
the
you said.
broadcast version, and then you should also have a version that's comprised entirely of the shit that you cut out.
And then sell that one.
You know what you got to do, Andrew?
Before you, yeah. What?
Sorry, Matthew. Go ahead.
I was gonna say before he gets started, you should probably have another Twizzler.
All right. Andrew, what you want to do is you want to get on with Patreon and start getting Patreon supporters and then release premium content that assholes pay for.
Yep.
And this is the premium content.
I've looked at that and I am concerned about the viability of the market.
I'm actually a Patreon supporter of 2 shows because their shit is. I'm so happy with their stuff, and they're actually non-gun related shows.
What shows?
It was the biggest problem in the universe, and The other one is called the Nighttime Podcast by Jordan, and it's true crime and sci-fi stuff. $3 a month comes out of my account automatically for those two shows. So $3 from me and $3 from every other asshole that listens. His shit's paid for, and he's buying mics, and he's hiring editors, and he's working on the writing.
Yes, but how many
Like
listeners
Patreon
does he
works
have?
where it's based on content release, so he only gets to bill your credit card or whatever like per release of an episode. Isn't that the way it works?
Nope.
Yes, it's
No, it's
No?
once a month. PayPal.
Okay.
You do it through PayPal. Once a month, you donate $3 to his show.
Oh, okay. I always thought that Patreon was based on a it was paired to the content.
Well, there's a couple of different ways of doing it. There's podcasts that put out bonus episodes that you pay for, so you pay
Okay.
$3 for every bonus episode.
Okay.
But the way Jordan is doing it is, and that was the way that the biggest problem in the universe did it. Was you had to buy the bonus episode every time. It was $3. But Jordan does it that it's you pay $3 a month, and then you automatically receive any bonus content. Everybody who's a Patreon supporter gives their email address, so he has an email distribution list with a link to the bonus content.
What if we just do a GoFundMe to get us all Beowulf 50 cals, and then we just have a video of us shooting that all day?
That would so work.
Find the ammo.
You got to make the ammo. You're not going to
Yeah.
find it.
When the
That's
boys,
fine.
when Matthew and Owen were developing their Beowulf mag, they bought dyes out of the U.S. They were just struggling to find brass, and then after that, powder and primers and projectiles are fine because it's the same projectile that goes in a 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum is the same projectile that goes out of a 50 Beowulf. But yeah, no, there's no question. They had to make their own ammo to test their mags.
Okay, rapid fire feedback. We have email from Mike.
Did you eat
But
another
ser-
Twizzler yet, or what? I mean,
Seriously,
shit.
I have to go back to fucking work. Rapid fire feedback. We have email
I just
from
want
Mike.
you to know it's not my fault.
I swear to God, I'm gonna fucking murder you.
Just mute them. Mute them.
I'm done.
Ah. I seriously have to go back to work. Rapid fire feedback. This week we have email from Mike. Hey, first off, holy bastard, finally a libertarian, Canadian, gun-loving, beer-swilling podcast I can relate to. I heard about you from Slamfire. Absolutely love the show. Live in Guelph, only a couple years into the firearms scene, and obsessed. Reason for writing is to give you props and let you know I listen on Stitcher. Later, gents. Thanks, Mike. So I guess we owe Trevor thank you for pimping the show on Slamfire Radio.
You're welcome.
Now, Trevor, I'm going to crawl through every last second of the Slamfire radio anthology and look for a mention of my podcast.
Don't do it, man, because I just
We're not going to find anything.
Well, it's been mentioned before Andrew was on. For whatever reason, I don't know. Probably like these guys are mean and they hurt people's feelings.
This is
I
true.
don't care about people's feelings.
I think we all know that.
We'll get to that when we talk about hate mail.
Did we just interrupt his rapid fire thing again?
Yeah, we did.
Doesn't matter. Cutting it out. We also have email from Adam. Adam's subject is Stitcher. First of all, I have to apologize because I'm using speech to text. I have a new baby and I can't use my hands. I'd like to interject at this point and say that sounds very difficult, having a new baby and not being able to use your hands. Seems like it would be a problem, although it does explain part... Do you have a wife?
You'll find out soon, guys.
Carrying on. You guys were asking if anybody is using the Stitcher, and I'm using it. You guys are also talking in another episode about what Stitcher actually is. Like everybody else, I was using a podcast app, but then I got a new car, GM's lineup GMC Chevy Buick. All have this pre-installed app in the dash, Stitcher. that can be controlled through the steering wheel when connected to USB or Bluetooth. It's not the best app, but whatever. It's my car, so I'm using it. So if you guys stop posting on Stitcher, it doesn't matter because I'll just go back to my regular podcast app. But you know, a lot of people use podcasts when they're in their cars, so it makes sense to keep posting to Stitcher. Forgive the bad grammar or sentence structure. Like I said, I'm using text-to-speech. Last time I submitted feedback like this, some grammar Nazi started correcting me.
Great email.
For our audio-only listeners that are not with us on YouTube, Trevor is knocking his tower of beer bottles over, and Tyler has made a fort of beer cans and using the international symbol for cucks. Does anyone have anything about Adam's feedback?
That's actually pretty awesome that you can actually have an app in your car for podcasts, and I'm glad that they are using it to listen to us.
It's pretty sweet, and you know, like I know actually a few people that have bought cars recently, and the cars come with like 6 months of free Wi-Fi. You just like hook into some satellite shit, and you get Wi-Fi in your car.
That's pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie.
They're just streaming podcasts like all day long. They don't care. Yeah.
I'd be streaming porn all day long, but that's just me, I guess.
Yeah, if you want to, rub one out while you're sitting in the mean.
While you're driving?
Yeah.
You can do that?
Anything's possible. It's the current year.
Yeah. You guys don't know how to drive stick shift?
I have a stick shift. Rub one out while you're driving because it's 2016.
Yeah, I'm going to get a t-shirt that says that made for the Thursday night.
True story. I'm trying to get a t-shirt made for Saturday that says, everyone has a podcasts are like mothers. Everyone has one, and most of them suck.
Ooh. Why didn't you tell me that earlier? Because I got a t-shirt guy.
Damn.
You could always put that on the back of the shirts, Tyler.
Is it too late, Tyler?
Yeah, it's too late.
Ah, crap.
He's already in bed. He's got like 3 kids. He's definitely passed out by now.
You need to tell him to stop.
Tomorrow after work we shoot, right? Tuesday nights we shoot. So he's not doing shit. He's just presenting me with the shirts he made tonight for you, Gavin, and Trevor. So.
Crap. Oh well.
Yeah, that's it. You have to wait till the 7th annual charity shoot if we're invited back.
Boys, it'll probably be back in New Brunswick, and the house is open.
I'll drive to New Brunswick. I do not give a shit. Like I would drive. I used to drive down to see Matt in Virginia. It was a 10-hour drive. I once went and visited him for a normal weekend. It wasn't even a long weekend. I just drove down on the Friday night and drove back Saturday evening.
So here's what you do. Matt flies to you. You grab Matt, drive to New Brunswick.
We drive to New Brunswick. I have never been to New Brunswick. I have never been further east in Canada than Quebec City.
And my range is a free-for-all. Like, me and my buddies run it. We do what we want. So it's all within reason. But I mean,
I can bring Tannerite and my new flare launcher.
No,
absolutely.
Not approved. Really? You can do Tannerite on the 29 range?
Welcome to New Brunswick. Tannerite is good to go.
Experience freedom.
Wow.
We don't
shroud steel.
We don't shroud steel. We don't discriminate against Tannerite. Look, I'm telling you, New Brunswick is like better than Alberta. Do what you want.
Yeah,
as long as you're
safe. You get paid like $4
an hour.
You're
subject to hunting regulations when transporting non-restricteds.
So we can always just run an outlaw match up at my buddy's hunt camp, and basically, as long as you don't have a restricted, we can do whatever we want.
Shotguns and XCRs.
Yeah. XCR, I've got a Swiss Arms, run a Versamax. We'll have a good time.
VZ58 and Versamax. Let's go.
Yep.
And if somebody wants to bring their restricteds, I don't care. I won't tell anyone.
Yeah, I won't give a shit either. Fuck 'em.
The views expressed on Canadian Patriot Podcast are solely those of the panelists, do not necessarily reflect the management or ownership of the podcast.
And their legality may be questionable.
Where have I heard that before?
Usually after I talk.
Yeah, pretty much. It used to play at the end of the show, but I took it out because it was redundant. If you want to get in touch with the show, you can do that at facebook.com/Canadian Patriot Podcast or by visiting CanadianPatriotPodcast.com/feedback. Remember, I love your hate mail. Make sure to send that to me at feedback@CanadianPatriotPodcast.com. Make sure to include details about how specifically I offended you and why you feel that I should use trigger warnings for something you see on the internet. Trevor, where is the best place for people to stay in touch with you?
TrevorFrill@gmail.com for myself personally. SlamFireRadio@gmail.com for the show. SlamFireRadio.com for the show, and all the same for the Reloading podcast, which unfortunately I haven't been on in a long time because we record on Sundays, and Sunday I'm usually driving home from a match. So that's me. Now, of course, Facebook. I'll friend just about anybody who's not a cuck.
All right, then. Gavin, where's the best place for people to stay in touch with you?
Best place to find me is on Instagram. You can find me at urbex_GTA. And I actually had a guy recognize me after the fact when I was at the range on Sunday, and he sent me a message. So, Benny Lewis 97, next time you see me, buddy, come over and say hi in person.
Right on. Tyler, where's the best place for people to stay in touch with you? I can't tell if you're still there or there's just beer cans.
Oh, I'm here. I'm behind my castle of beer cans. Best place to keep in touch with me is with the podcast that I do with Matt, International Liberty Death Podcast, Facebook.com/Liberty Death Podcast, Twitter and Instagram @Liberty Podcast, and coming soon on the internet, libertyorddeathpodcast.com. And if anybody who is listening is planning on attending the charity shoot this weekend, we will be meeting for dinner. We'll be in Brockville from Thursday onwards, so we're totally open to meeting any fans, anybody who's interested in kind of touching base with us Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So don't hesitate to drop us a line on the Facebook page, and we'll get something going.
Great. Matt, where's the best place for people to stay in touch with you?
Pretty much everywhere Tyler said, and also if you're ever down in the Texas area, just message our podcast page, and we'll try to get some hog hunting in or some shits for the CIA or
Tyler, or Matthew.
Yes.
Matthew, sorry.
or FBI.
Matthew,
If
do you
that's
know?
the case, just go to your buddies in the NSA. Yeah.
Matthew, do you know Tim Crosno?
No.
All right. He's a podcasting guy, friends of some of the shows that are out there. He's invited myself to Texas, and either March or next summer, and I'm looking at March, and I'm looking at hog hunting out of San Antonio would be where I'm flying into if this is a go. So where are you in relation to San Antonio?
I'm right near Fort Worth, so definitely shoot me a message. We'll get it all sorted out. But yeah, you're more than welcome. That'd be awesome.
He's like 3.5 hours northeast of San Antonio.
All right. All I want to do is shoot a hog in the face with a Smith & Wesson 500, or a bow, whatever, man. As long as
Depending on the situation, I'd be totally down to go down at the same time. Actually,
Shot 3 in the face this weekend.
March is a really good time work-wise to take time off. But as I said, I'm gonna I'll have a 5-month-old child at the time, so I don't know if that's gonna be feasible.
Work-wise, one thing; child-wise, another.
You got to reproduce, right? If we don't reproduce, then the cucks will inherit the earth.
No, they won't, because they're not reproducing.
Yes, actually, no, but
Stupid.
no,
They are
listen,
reproducing.
We're subsidizing the reproduction.
Guys, for real, for a second, when you take 4 wives and start breeding them at the age of 16, it takes one generation to, way outpopulate the country you've invaded. Think about that.
Yeah. You are speaking amongst friends here, Trevor.
Giddy up.
We all know what's going on.
It is. It's scary.
It is as if it is so bad that it has to be deliberate.
It's totally deliberate.
Yeah.
Lose the Crusades, find a new strategy.
Yep.
As always, my name is Andrew. You can
There's
find
got
out
to be something we got to do. Jeff Ensel.
God.
We don't have enough helicopters and we don't have enough rope.
Amen, brother.
Sorry, Andrew, but
As always.
As always, my name is Andrew. You can find all my work on everydaytactical.com, where I review guns, gear, beer, or anything else I find interesting or tactical. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter. You can't really find me on Twitter, at edtactical. Shows on Facebook, facebook.com/Canadian Patriot Podcast, or we have a website, it's CanadianPatriotPodcast.com. We also accept hate mail through feedback at CanadianPatriotPodcast.com. And like we do every week, I'd like to remind our listeners that you are the true North, or in Matthew's case, an ornery Texan, strong and free.
Yeah.